What box can you see?
I see the Amazon box on top of something else.
How large is my camera? Oh, that Amazon box, which is probably, I don't know. What are you seeing?
Very
It's over your
perceptive.
right
Oh,
shoulder.
that box?
Your other shoulder.
Yes, you're over right.
Your other right. Right there.
See, on my
Tool
camera,
box.
I on my camera I can't see this because my camera looks weird. The
Yeah.
people watching are like, there's no other Amazon box. I see the one box right here.
What the hell's going on?
Where's the other Amazon box?
This feels like one of those weird internet memes.
Right next to you,
Is
Jeremy.
it here? This box?
Yes, yes.
Oh, okay. See, you
That's what
can't.
I
If
see.
you're watching on Twitch, you just see like half my body off of screen right now. You cannot see that there's an Amazon box. This box. I can open it. I mean, it's just headphones. It's legit what it is. It's headphones.
I had a wrestling conversation.
What a
Now
fucking way to start this show.
Yeah, no, that's been fell. Oh man, what was we talking about? Shit, not that stuff. I mean, like wrestling wise.
And
Yeah,
I
man,
get it.
wrestling,
You guys
pretty good,
are
right?
trolls. That's your whole gimmick.
Well, I mean, if we're talking about wrestling, we're not talking about WWE. WWE is not a pro wrestling company.
Sports entertainment, from what I've been told.
Okay, I get the sense you are like you've decided that in your appearance on Distraction, you will try to incite WWF fan rage, and I don't know how I feel about it.
Yesterday at work, I was having a conversation with somebody. You know what dawned on me? Let me get your guys' opinion on this, because I think you both watched it at the time. I know Jeremy definitely has. Joe, I don't know if you had. Kind of dawned on me after that interview went viral of that new Raw writer, where she basically said, didn't need to know anything about wrestling to get hired. I don't even know who Bobby Lashley is.
Right.
It dawned on me. It was like WWE wants to be Lucha Underground, which a television show, a comedy/drama television show that happens to feature wrestling, not the other way around. Isn't it funny that Lucha Underground did it 10 billion times better in the short time it was in existence than WWE ever wishes it could?
So I didn't watch Lucha Underground. Okay, so that's the first thing. My question is, and I agree with your point of like, it isn't a TV show, is it? Like, it isn't wrestling, but it certainly couldn't qualify as television, could it? It's like this weird thing. The question is, and I said this, Jeremy, before you came on, Joe, how are people surprised at this story? Because I understand why people are rolling their eyes at her not knowing Bobby Lashley, but like, we know this, right? Like, people are like selling it like they thought Watts had the pencil.
But it always, like with a lot of other things in life, Joseph, you don't grasp the gravity of the situation until it's right in front of your face. Like, we could hear Sean or Meltzer or any other insider say, well, backstage they don't care much about wrestling. It's about trying to get Hollywood like storylines. But when you hear from the horse's mouth, like, this is like, I didn't need to know about pro wrestling. Hell, I don't even know who Bobby Lashley is. Maybe I should learn. Then it hits you. It really hits you in the face then. That like, hey, this bullshit. And I feel bad for people who do still have emotional ties to WWE and their favorite wrestlers, because they have these hopes for them, and it's like, look, there is no hope. Like, there's none.
There is no hope.
You just have to.
I get it, yeah.
Like, you want your favorite wrestler on Raw or SmackDown to be used like they were in NXT or on the Indies. Shit ain't gonna happen. It's just not, like, you could wish all you want. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, I agree. We talk about this a lot. Like, at some point in the emotional investment part, you're just being dumb, right? It's like,
Yeah.
You're asking for trouble being invested in these characters. They stand for nothing. They represent nothing. They're not in any plans to do stuff. Now, the question is, you just mentioned the idea that, okay, they're trying to operate as a TV show, but they don't manage this. It's like,
hello.
I can't even tell you what storylines are on the show other than Roman. So it's not like they're letting these people write anything, right? It's still Vince's nonsense wrestling brain. It's bizarre.
I saw a clip the other day of, I don't know, because you guys obviously probably know better than me, some bullshit going on with Natty, Tamina, Mandy, and Dana, and it looked like the legit dumbest shit.
Why would you think we would know better than you? Like, we don't watch this.
Yeah,
show.
you guys don't. Yeah, you guys don't watch. I mean, no, I mean the last, like I told you guys before, I will tune in when I feel worthy, and usually, like I watched the Roman Reigns match because I said, hey, this is Roman Reigns versus Rey Mysterio. I don't give a shit when it is. I'm gonna watch it, and it's just everything with Roman Reigns is great. And the rest of the places, which is why on the distraction, why I went on that rant. Like, you have one good thing going, and it's Roman Reigns, and that's where I can't turn the wrestling fan button in me off. It's that I don't really give a shit to see The Rock wrestle Roman Reigns. I don't care. I don't. I want Big E. I want to tell the story of Big E. After Roman lays waste to just about everyone, having Big E be the guy to say, okay, I'll take care of this problem. Yes. But WrestleMania, Dallas, 100-some thousand people, all they have in their mind is that Hogan-Andre-esque picture of Roman and Dwayne staring at each other in the middle of the ring. That's all they care about.
So we talked about this on air, and I think it's an interesting thing to talk about with you, because I know that you love pro wrestling, but I would describe you as fan-wise. You've seen it all with the WWF. You're one of those guys, you've gone on the... And to me, what's interesting is, in the last decade, they've gone away from that core idea you were just talking about, right? The idea of watching a guy climb the roster, climb the ladder, IC title, and it's like, Big E to you reminds you of what that is. The idea of we've spent all this time with this guy, and it's now time for him to climb the ladder and win it. Instead, The Rock feels like another case of, it's a poster, isn't it? It's a moment, as you said, them staring at each other, and it's like, it's not ideal for you as a fan.
And I'm a big fan of long-term storytelling, but not like everybody. Like, there's a lot of fans out there who believe that everything has to be long-term storytelling. Right. It doesn't have to. I'm a fan of when it's done right. Like on the AEW side right now, the Hangman Page stuff, and I tweeted out last. It should, because I'm starting to pick up on it now, because they're doing it sporadically. Whenever Hangman is asked about Kenny Omega, he refuses to answer the question, and he changes the subject. So people eventually are going to go, wait a minute, why isn't he talking about Kenny? Like, we could see that you're going to be the world title. Why don't you want to talk about it? And then obviously we know that story is going to turn into, well, my friends turned into pieces of shit.
Right.
I was part of the elite too, but they turned into assholes. I don't really want to talk about them. And then the time's going to come where he's going to be forced to deal with Kenny. And that's perfect. Right. And it should be the same. I think I talked about this last time. Like, if Big E, if they want to do the traditional route, have Big E win the Royal Rumble, and even if it seems blatantly obvious to everyone going into the Royal Rumble in 2022 that Big E's going to win, that's okay. It is perfectly okay to go into that thinking Big E's going to win this. It's fine because you want him to win it.
Obvious is good sometimes. Obvious means good storytelling sometimes, and there's a place for swerves, there's a place for surprises, but sometimes the smartest story is the simplest story, it's the obvious story. It's the right story, right?
And I mean, look, because now, I mean, if they do want to move Big E to Raw, I mean, does that maybe tie into why they're having Kofi feud with Lashley right now?
That's Jeremy's.
So my pitch on the show today was, he beat Xavier on Raw. I was gonna say in a Hell in a Cell, and then we assume he's gonna beat Kofi at Money in the Bank. I think Big E wins the Money in the Bank, and he shows up the next night on Raw, and he's like, "I'm cashing this in. I'll see you at SummerSlam." Because Big E, he doesn't need that briefcase to be like, "Oh, let me get one over and cash in." When the guy is down and stuff, like he seems like a guy who's just gonna be like, I'm gonna call my shot on this. This is what I'm gonna do it, and we're gonna face. So that's my pitch: is that we get Lashley against Big E at SummerSlam, and Big E wins a title at SummerSlam. You can still do the Roman match, Joseph. You said Roman maybe not next year, but the following year, right? Like. You're going way off on Big E here. So that was kind of our ideas for when it comes to Big E.
See, and what sucks? Like that's a great idea. Like I'm on board with that idea. I like that. And again, the storytelling, him being the that the member of New Day that's removed from the group right now, being the one to come in And this is where I know people disagree with me, but I don't like the idea of 2 world champions in one company.
Yes.
Because Big E finally becoming the WWE champion, which is that company's top title. It still is. Would be a great moment, but it'd be like, great moment, wrong guy. He beat. Like, it's like, great moment, wrong guy.
Yes.
And again, it seems like Lashley's doing a fine job so far in his first. It does. It seems like Lashley's doing a fine job. It's not his fault he gets stuck with Drew McIntyre every 5 minutes.
He's not.
So he's doing a fine job, the guy. But I mean, Roman is clearly the top guy, and not that just that coming. Roman's the top guy in pro wrestling right now, and you give Big E that moment. It's like, cool, but wrong guy.
I agree, but here's the thing: when you have a heel like Bob, while he isn't Roman, we accept that. The only thing that Bob, and I love the man, but let's be honest, the only thing he really is business-wise is an opportunity to make a new babyface, because he's a big heel that's kicked everyone's ass, right? That's what you do with those characters. They're great, but you use them to make a guy. That's where my mind goes to Big E. Now, I agree with what you're saying. Here's what I'm saying, though, Jack. If it's just Brock, if Brock just beats Bob, it's like, what are we even achieving? We're going from a 44-year-old to a 43-year-old that have the same shtick. What's the point?
My problem with, and I get it, because that is a match we need to see at some point, Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar. The fact that it hasn't happened yet is a crime. Like, we do need to see it. I'm not going to be against it whatsoever. And I see people, SummerSlam, you could do Roman John, Brock Bobby. Like, there you go. My thing is, you can't bring Roman back to that company, even if it's on a different show, and not address the elephant in the room of Paul Heyman's with Roman now.
Yes. You mean bring Brock back, right? Yeah.
With someone like Brock. You can't just bring Brock back on his own to go. Also, with the Bobby Lashley thing, if this Big E route is the way they're going, if it is, don't you really feel like dipshits now for breaking up the Hurt Business? Imagine those 6-man tags. I mean, you have to feel, because if this Big E decision was something just recently, that makes that Hurt Business breakup look even dumber.
It's like unfathomably dumb anyway. There's no
some great 6-man tag matches because of that.
Cheese Nater, thank you for the 300 bits. That's a lot. I feel. I don't know how the bits work, Cheese Nater, but I appreciate them.
I think you should send more. Honestly,
disagree. No one should give us any money. This show sucks. But here's the thing. The Hurt Business, right?
No, just our viewers suck. We're awesome. Viewers not good. That's why they should keep sending us money.
Okay, fair. Now here's the thing, okay, with the Hurt Business. The Dangerous Alliance from WCW days, guys.
Of course.
Now we all love that faction, but if we're being honest with ourselves, within the world of WCW, they made a right mess of it, right? They could have made so much more of that great act, but dipshits like myself in 2021, they go, oh man, Dangerous Alliance. How great is it going to be when in 2040, the young fucks of tomorrow on their @WrestleChat accounts are like, this Hurt Business thing, huh? What happened to this thing? This thing was a monster. You know for a fact that's what it's going to be, right? Like, when they're experienced it, no, but people are going to look back and go, wow.
When they're watching old Roz on the AEW network.
No, it'll be Impact Plus. They'll outlive us all. You know that. Impact Plus, in the end, wrestling will just cease. It will see what rations. Impact Plus will have all the libraries, Scott them all, introducing it all. It's true though. You just know that. Look, hopefully we're all there to see it.
Do we have any? Now that I think I asked last time. Which last time I was on was like what, month and a half, 2 months ago, like that. But now that it's actually here and everything, who realistically winning those briefcases?
Yeah, we lost. That's where Big E comes in. The women's match is a nightmare. I have no clue with women's.
Oh god.
I explained my Big E pitch. My women's pitch was just like Alexa, and she just holds it for however long. Like they get to November, December, and then try to figure out what they actually do with her. And in the meantime, she carries around Lily in it, and she swings with it and all this shit. It's like a little lunchbox or whatever. It worked well for Otis, right?
Are they? I mean, they could, I guess, because I see she's not. I guess they could be holding Sasha off TV until Money in the Bank, and she can come in.
I kind of mentioned that, and I agree with Joseph on this because I think they're doing Sasha and Bianca, at SummerSlam. Like, you just don't need the briefcase for that. Like Joseph said, like, Sasha just comes out, be like, hey, I want a rematch. Bianca's like, okay, let's run it back. And that's that. Like, you don't need to do some Money in the Bank gimmick with this.
But speaking of Sasha, you know what I like about? I know everybody has like that.
Do you like when
it
laughs?
When it comes to Sasha? No, you know what I think that was cool about it. I don't know what prompted it. I don't know if she had to do like Disney filming or whatever. She got beat at WrestleMania, and then you haven't seen her.
She was on the SmackDown right after.
Well, the SmackDown after, but pretty much you haven't seen her.
It's because they have nothing for her.
Gone. Like there was no. Oh, right now she's just gone.
Jeremy, plug what just happened with the hype train, because we have to talk about this, but that seems very exciting.
Okay, so we got a hype train. We've got shit going on apparently. So Kylo Voss, who did the distraction intro, he did 200 bits. Let me try to find this message here. That'd be helpful, right? Here's bits for putting up with us because we suck. Yes, you guys are horrible. Keep sending us money though. Drew sent 500 bits. He says more bits. Here you go. See. Guys, keep sending that. We got a hype train going right now. Gift, send bits, do all that fun stuff. Greg Carr earlier in the chat, he resubscribed for 1 month, tier 1. He's been subscribing for 5 months. We've been doing this long. I think we're at month 6 or 7. Where were you in the early months, Greg Carr? What's wrong with you? Guys, if you've been subscribing, subscribe again. If your subscription's gonna come up, subscribe. If you want to gift some subs, not everybody in this chat has a sub. Like Luis is on our watch-alongs, doesn't have a sub. Luis, why do you... There we go. See, this is what happens. Drew Nicholas giving out the gifted subs here. Everyone acknowledge Drew as the gifted sub king. Gifting subs to Al, first of his name, Tank Bearclaw, big guy Tank. I don't know, that didn't sound right. Big fan of Tank, right? That's what I meant to say. Love Tank. Trevor Struthers, big guy Tank. Tank is the tank. Tank's the tank. Trevor Struthers getting the gifted sub. Greenish sauce, down sense greenish sauce. Luis getting the gifted sub from Drew. Luis is on the watch-alongs. Doesn't have a sub to this channel. It's horrible. You shouldn't be allowed on the watch-alongs unless you have a sub. Now it's fine, but before this shouldn't have been allowed. Savage Leon 88. Shoto Drag. The Mog says, Red Sting 6, and Frequency all got the gifted sub from Drew Nicholas. If you're in the chat and you got a sub from Drew, make sure that they say thank you. We have more bits. JJ 200 bits. We suck. We keep watching the stars. Yeah, I mean that's what you're here for. You guys aren't the stars, but if you give us bits, we'll read your name and all that fun stuff. You guys are horrible though, just god awful human beings because you support this bullshit. JK Shaw says Jack effing rules. Aren't you banned? Aren't you banned, Jack? Like, what is happening here? Jack does rule. Glad I was the reason for the baseball talk today. And Pantsless, no, JK, you're banned. We're not glad baseball. Fucking baseball talk. Jack O'Neill messages and is just like, Jack's gonna be on the show. We're doing a hot call. He's booked this whole thing. Let me read this Robert O'Neill DM.
Oh, it was terrible.
Just horrible.
In our DMs, bro. This was awful.
God awful. Where's it?
Just needs reading out. Expose this shit, Drew.
Yes. Okay. So I send the StreamYard link to everybody, and O'Neill says, "Oh yeah, by the way, Jack is on the corner 3 today, and we're doing a hot corner. Gonna be great." I said, "Do I need to send him a link?" And he's like, "I can do it." He's like, "Okay." And O'Neill says, "So what I think works best is bringing me on first, and then we'll banter for a bit like we do, and then you'll ask what I'm doing, and I'll be like, another edition of the hot corner, and then you can bring Jack in, and we'll get rolling." O'Neill's like producing.
I was just gonna say he's
a
distraction producer.
Yeah. What the fuck? What the fuck?
Our man Miro just caught himself a couple bodies on Twitter. This guy's on such a heater.
He's so good.
So AEW, the AEW on TNT account runs a graphic, right, with what Andrade said in the interview last week about I deserve the opportunity for the TNT title and the AEW World title. It's my next step. They caption their tweet with, "You hear that at 2B Miro and Kenny Omega Man X? Better hold on to those belts." Our guy Miro retweets it and goes, "This guy must think getting undeserved title shots runs in the family."
Oh, man. I'm sure no one will get their feelings hurt by that. I'm sure. it rules so much because Lana's out now. Like he doesn't even have to pull punches, right? Like he can just.
You can do whatever the fuck he wants now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the man.
Miro rules. Yeah.
Dude, the heater this guy's on. I'm almost looking at. I mean, no disrespect to Ty. I like it. It's a perfectly fine mid-card title, but we're getting to the point where Rusev or Miro comes out with that TNT title, and I'm like, wrong title.
I agree. He's found it now. He's finally found like what main event Rusev Miro is, right? This is it now. We've figured it out. Because he has personality. He's not just like mean guy. He has this kind of Bond villain vibe. It's tremendous. It's awesome.
I gauge some stuff when I'm watching wrestling on what my wife says, because my wife watches AEW with me when she can. And one of the last times Rusev was on, she kind of looked at him after he did one of his promos, and she looked at me and she's like, "Was it that hard?" I said, "Apparently it was. It was that freaking hard." Like,
that rules.
Yeah, she looked at me like, "Was it that hard?" I was like, apparently.
I do have to say, Jack, because we started talking about the legit boss Sasha Banks, and then a hype train happened. So all of the Sasha fans,
there's 54 seconds left in the hype train. We're at 45%. What's wrong with you, cowards? Get us up to 100%.
Here we go. Okay, listen. All these Sasha Banks fans, they sat closer to their screen. They're like, "Hang on, they finally going to talk about the legit boss." And then, like, I want to say, I need to say this because I think it's important. It's giving me Brett vibes, the way that she's just like, there's an actual sense of importance to her being on TV, and the result means something within her character. Big thumbs up. I have to say this, we all get very silly with the legit boss. Dude, like, if everyone on the roster treated things with the kind of prestige, importance, and just like commitment that she does, I think the World Wrestling Federation will be in a better place. I really mean that.
You can call me old school, you can call me whatever, but I grew up in a TV era in wrestling where Hogan was not on every single goddamn TV. Ric Flair was not on every single goddamn TV. Hell, sometimes the NWA United States champion wasn't on every single TBS show. It's okay to let some of your top stars, like Sasha, Roman, Lashley, Charlotte,
Bray Wyatt.
No, but
Damian Priest. Keith Lee. These guys aren't on TV for a reason, right?
No, you're right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And it makes you miss them.
And use the talent you're trying to elevate every single week. But those like it has, like, Sasha Banks doesn't need to be there right now. Does not need to be there.
I don't know if we talked about it. Her WrestleMania match with Bianca Belair was like.
I watched that back. It's been a long time, legit. Yeah. No pun intended. Since I've watched a WWE match back, like the next day or a few days later, I watched that main event back, and better the second time.
You mentioned Flair. That was like her Flair making Sting moment, bro. That was a masterpiece. What again, I do this all the time. It sounds like I'm being a dick to Bianca Belair, who's great, but I want people to appreciate, like, you know, WrestleMania main event, the match she's dreamed of her whole career. Sasha Banks basically was just like, I'm going to just make. Because offensively, that match was, I want to say it was 70-30 Belair. Belair was flinging her around.
Beat the shit out of her.
Yeah, and it was like an extended, I don't know, squash, but it was an extended showcase, and it's just, I can't put over enough how selfless that was. In that moment, she could have easily just gone, no, we're doing 50-50, we're going 25 minutes. It wasn't that. She had a purpose. Yep. That's lost today, man, in every promotion. That was, to me, she's had better matches because she's had, like, the epics. But that was to me, that was her shining moment. That was incredible.
Because Sasha has the wherewithal that a lot of pro wrestlers get caught up in the present. And it's about me, and my spot right now. But Sasha, I think part of her, this isn't all of it, but part of her looks and says, okay, if I make Bianca, who is clearly a superstar, if I make her look 10 times the superstar that she is, maybe not next week, maybe not next year, but somewhere down the road, these heel face roles will be reversed. And if I help elevate her right now, then maybe I will get it coming back to me in the future, whether it's near or distant, and it'll be even better because of this. So I'll do this now for the sake of later.
I'm waiting. I've seen Bayley do the same thing. We've seen it from Banks. Becky did it years back as a babyface, right? Where she kind of made Alexa when she came out on SmackDown. I hate to say it, waiting for the Queen to. She says she made Becky Lynch, but I watched that. She's just not that way. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just she doesn't have the poise yet to do that, in my view. Just for me personally, and I think that hurts her standing, in my view, because I like seeing that. It shows a level of range, doesn't it? You can make someone else the star. Cyclist Ben and Logan here redeem the message. They say, "Is Bianca the most successful call-up since Kevin Owens?" That's interesting, right? I mean, she's won a main event at WrestleMania, so she's got to be in the conversation.
Is Bianca the most successful call-up of all time?
I mean, Owens hasn't main event at WrestleMania, so
yeah. Kevin hasn't main evented at WrestleMania.
She's also only been up for like a year, and she's already done it. So it feels
won the Rumble and the title in a WrestleMania. I'm trying to think
Luis says Drew is a call up.
Fucking blocked.
I mean, Drew is a call up, but even in that sense, screwed around with Dolph for how long?
How dare you? That was his best work. So Joe Ben says Seth, the Shield guys you've got to put them in their own. Because that was like old school where they came up kind of unknown.
Right. But
it was different.
The problem is NXT was not at the level.
Right.
Because I think I've talked to somebody, and plus like Mox never appeared on an episode of NXT TV.
I think NXT call-ups start with whenever the first takeover was. Like, that's when I think
that's a good baseline.
But that kind of cuts. So when was Takeover 1? Do we know?
2014.
The network, 2014.
Because it was
the
a network. Era. It was February 2014 because they used that show to test whether WrestleMania.
Yeah, exactly. That was technically the first show on the network.
Okay, well, let's try and figure out about it. So Charlotte Flair is the most successful.
Yeah, she was technically on NXT. Yeah, Sasha. I mean, technically, like Sasha, Becky, Bayley, and Charlotte were all called up during that era.
I know that Asuka's creator's been she, but her and Alexa also have got to be in it because they've both done a lot, right? Yeah. They've had great runs.
I think there's definitely a case to be made that Bianca, in a few years, could be considered.
Undoubtedly, I agree. Yes.
Is Bianca the best since the? I guess it was on weekly television. Bianca was part of the USA era, wasn't she?
Yeah. First 6 months she was there.
Yeah, for the first little bit.
Mhm. Yeah, I think I asked someone the other day about who's on the main roster that's under 30. It's not a big list. Oh, okay. The main roster is pretty old. It amazed me to see Banks and Bliss on that list because they're two of they're two of their 10 most established acts, and they're like two of the only people that are under 30. That's wild to me. Oh man, Jack was really he looks really caught in fault.
This is why I like doing this with you guys, and this is why I don't do any other wrestling podcasts. Tremendous. Because we actually have legit conversations that get my brain going instead of frying my brain. It gets my brain working. Because these are good questions.
See, all this shit just fries my brain. So.
But then again, with the way things are going, we're going to be asking who WWE missed the boat on when it comes to NXT. When you have people like Tay Conti over at AEW, like when AEW gets a hold of these people,
who's the number one? Yeah, Deanna White. That one I think because she had so much variety in ring, but that's not what they want. They don't want in ring variety. They want programmed cyborgs. But who's the call up? Because I agree with these names. Juice Robinson comes up, like people they just miss. But who are the call ups they've most just made a mess of? That we all thought could be something on the main roster. Who comes? Because Finn, look, we all love Finn. The injury fucked Finn, right? Like they wanted to do stuff with Finn, I think they should have given him a second chance. But that's the truth. It was the injury.
Shinsuke.
Alistair.
Yeah, Alistair Black is up there, definitely.
Yeah.
Alistair, come on now.
Andrade,
now look, I
bad
think
as well.
Andrade terrible. Like Alistair has me in a weird place. Big fan of the guy. I would like him to stop talking. If that makes any sense. Yeah, big fan of the worker. I'd like him to please stop talking.
There's something to be said for Mystique too, and he's just saying everything. It's too much.
I really because I watched and or listened to all the interviews he was doing, but I completely lost it when he was like, Paul Heyman told me I'm 5 years ahead of the business. I'm like, what are you talking about?
What do you expect Paul Heyman to say? Paul Heyman, that's what he tells everybody.
No, but I get it. He's a guy that's not going to shit on WWE because he knows there's a chance he can go back there.
Yes.
So he's not going to completely just lay waste to his WWE run, but he's kind of taking it over the top.
Yeah, it's a little
I'm watching these interviews and I'm like, dude, I'm sorry, but if everything was this great,
yeah.
or when he was like, Vince apologized to me for screwing. I'm like, no, Vincent Kennedy McMahon did not apologize to you.
Okay, we've got some suggestions. Karen, what's your Aleister Black fault? Do you want to finish your fault there, Jake? You seem like you have more to say about old Tommy.
No, I'm good. I'm good on time.
You sure?
I'm good. I just want the guy to please land somewhere and just get back to work, please.
I think you'll get your wish. Bob Roode is a great shit. I know you guys probably don't understand Bob Roode. Dude, they got nothing out of him on the main.
You could have squeezed a small WWE championship run out of Bob Roode. I don't care.
I agree.
You could have squeezed a small one
out
of him in that character. Very, very small. Dude didn't have to hold it for. You could have squeezed a very small world title run from him.
Dude, he came up as a babyface.
Or
what?
At the very, very, you could have gotten a solid mid-card title run.
Great IC champion. Yes.
Champion.
Okay. Yes.
That does. Jeremy, I'm saying that character put in the right hands, coming up from NXT.
Look, you want to do mid card title run? Fine. Like
you could have done it.
A world title
Dude,
run.
Jinder was world champion at this time.
Yeah, and it sucked. Like, let's not act like just because they did it with Jinder was world champion, we could have put the title on Bob Roode.
This year. Miz was the champ this year.
Yeah, that sucked too.
I'm trying. You're acting like she's out there. It's not really out there.
It's not. Look, they could have done it. I agree, but let's not act like this would have been.
It would have fucking rolled.
See, I never said.
They gave you the dirty dogs, Joseph. What more do you want? They've been on television since they lost the titles. I'm pretty sure.
What about females from NXT?
We weren't done with males.
Let's get our way through this.
Read them off, Joseph.
I'm sorry, I'm being very slow with this. Sami Zayn is interesting. I think they've got good TV content out of him. Yeah. I agree that him as like a top babyface is shit. He's got.
They really thought Dana Brooke was gonna be some crossover. No, because she was a bodybuilder, and they really thought that she was gonna be some crossover megastar. And
so Andrade, we all agree was a waste, right?
Yeah.
Shinsuke, like I love Shin. I kind of feel like Shin kind of wasted some of his opportunities.
Ooh,
I love him, but
yeah, he definitely
See, Shinsuke could have been world champion. Like whether yeah, he should have beat Jinder. Let's be honest, he should have beat Jinder.
Yep.
Suddenly now you're like going wild for the WWE title fantasy booking. We just had fun with Bob Roode and you shot us down. It's very sad. Come on, they were both top guys in NXT, Jeremy.
I know we're missing people from NXT.
Ricochet is a good one. Ricochet is very good because he
should have beat Brock. He could have been world champion. He should have beat Brock.
I don't know about
what? I'm sorry. What now?
Dude, you could get more out of Ricochet than they do. I know he's not a good promo, but
I can't talk about Cross, but this MFer is on here talking about Ricochet should have beat Brock Lesnar. What are we doing here?
Can we go back to Dana Brooke? How much does
I'm doing a bit, Jack. Calm down.
Seriously, the Dana Brooke stuff is outrageous because, like, there are people that have succeeded that they had nowhere near as high hopes for as they did for Dana, and it's like, man, she's done nothing. Like, look, she works hard, bless her. Everyone seems to like her. But like, if she retired tomorrow and I said to you, "What do you remember Dana Brooke for?" What would you render? Like the Charlotte stuff,
poses.
The poses,
yeah. 500 poses she has to hit.
Yeah. JJ says Bayley is a babyface. Look, I'm going to give you my take on this, and I don't think I've ever talked about a distraction. They definitely blew that. People was getting a bit carried away with the John Cena stuff, guys. It's chill, you know? And she was not really John Cena.
That Bayley was like Cena?
Yeah, come on, man. Like, she couldn't promo. It's like, John cut 10-minute promos every week. Like, she could have been better than she was, but that's a bit much.
I gotta tell you, I cannot wait for Uncle John to be back on my TV.
Yeah, there we go.
Wait.
There we go. I'll do a cartwheel on the stream if we.
And then
we need to get like bits and stuff. I'll do a Dana Brooke cartwheel.
What?
I don't know. Everybody's talking about Dana and the cartwheels.
Okay.
Look, Joseph. I'm trying to put myself on the line to get some extra money here. Okay, this money goes to you too.
Jack's fired up. Let Jack talk about what he's
All
talking.
right.
What are you talking about, John Cena? Carol.
No, I can't wait for him to get in Roman's face and ask for death. Like,
Why?
basically just
I'm
ask for death.
I swear I'm not doing a bit about it.
Like,
I have no idea.
John's gonna say different words, but all I'm gonna hear is Roman, kill me, please. Roman, kill me.
I mean this sincere. I swear I'm not doing a bit. I have no idea why anyone's excited about this. No clue. No, don't get it. Lost on it. Bless John. Icon, legend, all that good stuff. I have very little faith in this being what you guys want it to be. I hope it is for your sake. That's all I'll say.
Joseph, why do you
I'm just honest.
hate good wrestling?
Yeah,
I watched John have an absolute stink with Goldust, and I could have a good match with Goldust on television. And this was 2-3 years
That
ago.
was Goldust, not Dustin Rhodes.
Dude, he's shot, man. I'm telling you, look, remember I was one that said this first. The last few times that dude got in a ring, he looked like he'd not ever been in one before. That match he had where he did like the weird finish where he teamed up with Bob or whoever in Australia.
Yeah, that fucking ruled.
Dude, he's not a guy that's like natural. Like he's a little bit clunky physically. You know, like he does shit weird. He needs rhythm. He hasn't wrestled in 3 years. Good luck, guys. That's what I'm saying. Good luck. Remember the Corbin match? Classic. What was his last good match? Seriously.
That was what was that, SummerSlam? And it was the first match because John was like, I gotta get the fuck out of here.
John's like, I ain't fucking with this dude.
Genuinely.
Fuck this, I gotta get out of here.
What is his last match?
The Firefly Funhouse.
No. I think Joseph's talking like a legit wrestling match.
I'm pretty sure that's a legit wrestling match. Seriously. I don't know if you guys watched it.
Because I haven't got an answer. I'm intrigued. What is it?
The four-way was good, wasn't it?
You guys I'll pull up Cage Match. Hold on.
The four-way was good, wasn't it? That was like his last, I think, legit match.
No, but seriously, it's so funny. I forgot about that Corbin one. It's at SummerSlam of all places.
Yeah,
John was like, let's get the fuck out of here.
Corbin was like just beat flat and like with no. It's wild. I don't remember this four-way.
It was Drew, Finn, somebody else. I don't remember. Corbin, probably, actually. Corbin.
Okay, Universal title. Yeah, Fatal 4-Way. Baylor, Corbin, Drew, and John.
There you go.
On January 14th, 2019.
There you go.
You guys remember that match?
Yeah, no, I referenced it, didn't I? I didn't need Cage Match to bring it up either.
Then he worked 3 house show matches with Corbin.
I bet they were good.
Sure, those are great.
Yeah. Okay, well, in fear of moving the goalpost, what's the singles match?
The Firefly.
His last singles match.
He hasn't had a lot of singles matches. He worked on a lot of
on TV.
Yeah. Well, I haven't watched the house show footage.
Wait, hold on, because you go back here. You actually go back.
Yeah.
Holy crap! Then here's the tag team with Becky. His last singles match. Holy shit! You guys are gonna shit yourselves.
I won't. I will not shit myself on Twitch.
It was in Saudi Arabia.
Oh, it was awful. It was with Paul. It was terrible.
That was a great match.
No, it was not good. No,
that was a great match.
You guys have got to be worried, man. That's what I'm saying. Because
the Paul match was his last singles match.
Joseph,
that was not good.
You think I'm worried about a John Cena match being good? I don't give a shit if the match is
think we're worried about any
good.
of this, but for the sake of content, I'm telling you that there is a lot of evidence that John is putting a lot of pressure on himself here to do this match because people are going to expect a classic.
John is going to come in. He's going to talk his shit to Roman. Roman's going to fire back. People are going to be fired up. They're going to continue to talk shit in the ring. It'll be a nice little 3-star classic. Roman will win, and that'll be that.
That's probably, you guys are probably excited for his promos, which I am.
So that means it'll be, when he gets in the ring with Roman, it'll be over 3 years since John had a singles match on TV.
Have you, by the way, guys, just throwing this out there, have you seen anyone else talk about this on their content? Have you seen anyone in hour 4 of their content for the night just go, hey guys, let's do a deep dive. This is what we bring. Different levels. Now, Jake, you're worried, be honest.
He wrestled Roman on a... No, this John Cena cage match is wild because then prior to the Greatest Royal Rumble, March 26, 2018, John Cena defeats Kane in a no disqualification match on Raw.
I will have you know, Joseph. John Cena, Triple H, his last singles match. I went back. I looked at well-respected reviewer Larry Zonka.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
3.25 stars. That's all I'm expecting out of John. Big match, John. Give me the 3-star classic, and we're done.
In that case, it was a good match because I would not have that.
And then, because remember, that was the first Saudi Arabia show, and it was the first match.
Right, they legit just went out there and were like, let's just do a live event match in front of these people.
Paul. He beat Paul, and then he gave his propaganda promo, and then got on a plane and came back.
How long did that match go, please?
15 minutes.
Oh, yeah, about 15.
Yeah, 15
that's not
minutes. Bad. Yeah. He's going to give us a 3-star classic. This is all I'm expecting. Joseph, I don't give a shit about the match. I don't even care about the promos. Do you know what I want? Do you know what I want out of John Cena?
Right.
When them horns hit, Joseph, when the horns hit, and your time is up, my time is now. That's all I want to do. I just want to sing along to the song.
I get it.
I
understand.
And he comes out and he goes like this, and he's like, time to go to work, baby! And he runs down the ramp, and he slides in the ring, and he's like, the C Nation, that's all I care about. I'm like, that John Cena, let's fucking go. That's all I care about.
July 16th, I want him to do all of that. I want him to do all of that while Roman's in the middle of the ring. And then I want him to give this long-winded speech, and then, I don't know, make a SummerSlam sign and point to it like the rest of them. Make a SummerSlam, have John point to it, go right there. And I just want Roman to look him dead in the eye and go, no.
I need this July 23rd. I need John Cena at the Cleveland show. I need him at the Cleveland show.
Oh, John's definitely only showing up July 16th. And
don't ruin this for me, Jack.
Vegas.
July 23rd. I need him at the Cleveland show. Go crazy.
John will be, on all those other shows, Jeremy, John will be live via satellite.
Don't ruin it for me, Jack. I want to be in the crowd when the horns hit.
Okay.
And I got my John Cena shirt on, and I'm ready to go. I told you about this, Joseph. We rewatched Brock and Angle, the Iron Man match. You know what I was wearing that night? Young Jeremy.
John Cena shirt. John Cena,
the word life. The word life, the basic thugonomics.
Look, I get it. I don't know, guys. It's the Cena stuff. Like, I find it kind of puzzling. I'm gonna be honest. I respect what he is. I can't imagine being fired up for it.
This is one where that's one match where I will give WWE a pass because SummerSlam. They're obviously there's no way Vince was pleased with WrestleMania. I don't think he was.
Like Star Power was, right? Yeah.
Star Power and the crowd. Yes, there was a crowd there, but so limited like that. I'm sure he looked around that stadium and went, "No, this ain't it. This ain't it."
They also mostly just sat in silence for the 4 hours.
So I know I saw all those reports that they're trying to turn, like they're telling people that SummerSlam is WrestleMania this year.
Yes.
So I think John's the perfect person to bring back to face Roman.
Okay,
before they get it over with.
I can't believe I'm doing this and out 45 minutes into a program, but I'm doing it. Okay. Where is John Cena on your all-time promo list? Because this is where I think my problem. I don't think he's on it. I genuinely don't. I'm not doing a bit. But I sense you guys are a lot higher on him, which is fine.
Top 2, and he's not number 2.
I think it's a style thing.
I'd say my top 20 or 25. Max at 25. He's definitely...
Okay.
When he's on, he's on.
See,
when
that's
he's
the thing.
on, there's no one better.
This is not a matter of talent. He's an incredible promo when he wants to be, but he so often had to play that role, right? Where he would do like the Jim Carrey bullshit, you know? So it's hard.
You have to do, which I'm sure they will, because Roman gets a lot of pull now in that place since he came back. But with this program, you have to tell those fancy writers that sit back. You're not needed here.
Mm-hmm.
Let them do what they're going to do. And tell John and Roman, cross your lines. Don't cross too much, but cross your lines. Do what you guys got to do to sell this match. And I'm sure it'll be fine.
See, JJ says, for people who I have watched in my time watching wrestling, I think JJ's like the last 2 decades. He says he's top 3. This feels bold for me. I'm going to be honest. I'm not saying it's wrong. Is Edge a better promo than John Cena?
No. Don't be stupid.
Is Chris Jericho a better promo? Yes, he is. He's not as charismatic, but I think he's a better promo.
Edge cuts good promos.
He does. He does cut good promos.
Problem with me with Edge is sometimes it comes off too try-hard.
I agree. He's very active.
like
Cody Rhodes vibes. Same shit. He does that same shit where it's like he's forcing it, you know?
See, the difference is Edge, John Cena, they are trying to cut pro wrestling promos. Cody Rhodes is ending racism, communism, socialism, capitalism,
Just not get into that, please, guys.
racism. Did I say racism?
You did,
John,
yeah.
Like Cody is trying to fix the world.
Yeah.
He's not trying to sell pro wrestling.
You put John Cena in an unscripted environment. He's got the best promos of all time. It's tough to cut WWE promos. It's tough. The best promos of all time.
See, like, look, the chat's lighting up with Kingston. So look, King's my guy. He's like, they're in different. To me, that's like saying Arn's a better promo than Flair. It's like he says cool as shit, but like, try to talk top guy.
See, like Anna Karana says Mox is better. Like, yes, Mox is better. Dean Ambrose was not better. Dean Ambrose sucked.
Yeah, I get that.
Yo, I still see.
Soft. Carry on.
I still see those comments, by the way, from people, random here and there, about how Dean Ambrose and Jon Moxley are the same person, and I wonder if these people have brain worms.
We need to fight them. We need to just fight, just beat them up. You know they can't fight.
If you think Dean Ambrose, you know they can't fight. If you think Dean Ambrose and Jon Moxley are the same people, if you're going to be in St. Louis for AEW Full Gear, let us know. We'll fight you.
I'm imagining me at Full Gear and like just some guy like, you know, he's kind of similar to Dean Ambrose. Like, what you say, motherfucker? We're fighting right now.
Mox in 4, bitch.
Yeah. So here's the thing, okay? So what's really interesting is the chat is split. It seems on Edge being a better promo than
The chat's
Cena.
stupid, though. We've established this.
Nah, I can't get behind it. I can't. It's like I said, it's just.
Is Jericho better?
I think Jericho's better. Yeah.
Yeah,
I do too. Who else is in this like WWE top guy of the last 20 years shit? Who else?
Sid.
Sid's better than everybody.
We're live, pal.
Okay, like
Randy. Is Randy better?
No.
Okay.
I would say this: I like Randy's peaks better because when Randy like cares, he's actually great. But he's been missing soft. CM Punk was a better promo.
Brian, Punk's a better promo. Brian.
I mean, for me, my number one is Zicky Dice. I mean, when you get a person that's going to get in front of a camera and say "Daddy" a lot, you won me over. When you're in front of a camera, you say, "Listen, Daddy," it's like, all right, you got me. You're
last
great.
time.
Johnny Swinger as well for you, Jack. Johnny
Steve
Swinger
Austin.
uses the daddy talk.
He does.
No,
I don't
Zicky
think
Dice
that was
is right from the gut.
Yeah.
Zicky Dice means it when he says it.
Okay, here we go. Let's manage it. Okay, is the Rock? Is he better or not?
Yes, obviously. We're talking 20 years.
Wait,
ago.
look. When it comes to promo,
I'm not counting Attitude Era people. You put John Cena in the Attitude Era, he would have wiped the floor with all these dudes.
Why is it like? Oh, I don't want to get myself in trouble. I think Rock's the most charismatic wrestler ever.
Yeah, of course.
I don't like. He's not like my.
His like material, like
a lot of his promos just kind of suck to me. I'm just kidding. Like he's not my guy promo.
Dude, he delivered it so well and so hilarious though.
100%. So this is where again you get into that thing of like I mentioned Arn a moment ago. Like Arn was objectively a better like content guy than Ric Flair, right? Rick didn't really say anything. He just said dates and times and names. Arn said some cool shit, but Rick is so much more charismatic. It didn't even matter. It's like. It's very difficult. Basically, what I'm saying is I brought up a conversation that has no relevance or importance whatsoever. So there you go.
Arn was great at doing the Jake Roberts method of speaking soft.
Yes.
And thinking, oh man, this is going some places. And when Arn raised his voice, you were like, oh shit, Dad's mad.
Yeah, Samoa Joe became a great promo in WWE, which is very hard to do. Yeah. Like modern WWE is not the place for promos, and Joe got over on promo alone, which is very impressive.
Well, I think Joe, when he got to WWE, I think he knew, look, everyone knows I'm a great wrestler. Everybody knows that. But now that I'm here, I have to show that I could do it on this microphone. I really think Joe took that to heart. And
interestingly, you were just talking about him. He says a lot that Arn Anderson was one of his like influences in that. Like he always loved Arn, and I mean, if you watch his promos in WWE, they were very Arn Anderson, like Nitro, which is cool. I think Kingston is like. Pure promo, one of the best promos ever. The thing with Kingston is like he's obviously not like a top guy like a Cena or an Austin, right? It's not his role. He's just not in today.
What about Seth Rollins?
He's just no.
I can't stand his voice.
Yeah, he's horrid. I just what my thing about Seth Rollins, like he's a talented guy. He he is like what like people pretend some of these elite guys and indie guys are. Where it's like, to me, he's a play wrestler, which is a shame because I think he's very talented, but I just don't believe a word he says. That's my honest take, mate.
Kind of a hater, if we're being honest.
I am a hater. Woods and Big E is a really good pro. So is Xavier Woods. Kofi's
no one has said Punk.
No,
someone
we did
mentioned
say Punk.
it.
Yeah,
we both.
Oh, shit.
Jeremy and I agreed he's better than Cena. I think that's fair, right?
Yeah.
Because I only said that. I'm sorry I missed it, but I'm trying to think through. I'm trying to think through Ring of Honor guys and like peak Ring of Honor.
Kevin
like
Owens.
mid-2000s.
Kevin Owens is a good call.
Yeah, Kevin.
Good.
Kevin Owens good.
Kevin's not as good as Joe, right?
No, I think Kev's better.
Dude, you know who's better than all these guys at promos? Foley. Foley's unbelievable at promos.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say Dolph Ziggler.
Wait, you think Kevin's better than Joe?
I'm gonna say a name that's gonna get me killed.
Karrion Kross.
No, I promise to just leave that alone.
Okay, good.
Adam Cole.
He's good. No, I think he's a good promo. I don't know if he's on this.
Jack, you know I'm high on Adam Cole, right? Like I'm high on Adam Cole.
I think Adam does a really good job of coming off like the prick that he is.
He's really good at it. He has such
He's really good at it.
Yeah, very confident. I agree. I think he, as a heel, does what Seth tries to do a lot. Not now that he's doing this shtick, but like when he was top heel, if he could be Adam Cole on the mic, it would have gone better. But that's just me. So you had Kevin above Joe. I'm intrigued by this. Is Kevin above King?
No.
No, right? Is Moxley above Eddie Kingston?
Yes.
No.
Oh, you're split on that one.
I got Moxley at the top, man. Moxley, like, that's what I'm riding for.
Moxley is great. He's a charisma guy too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kingston's
Eddie Kingston just quotes rap songs. Cool.
Yeah. X Street, bro.
Yeah.
saw one of those the other day.
Cool, you listened to Tupac today and quote it. Great job, Eddie. Great promo.
I mean, this conversation could change if AEW keeps putting a microphone in Santana's hand.
Dude, he's got something. He's the most
so good.
He's the most slept on like potential single star that no one ever talks about being a potential.
Well, everyone's so afraid to because then you get people in your mentions or something. If you say you're not going to break up Proud and LAX, whatever they're called, you're not going to break them up. But it's like, have you seen this dude?
He's special, and he has charisma. He has a physical presence to him. He's very authentic. I've thought this for years, and no one ever really goes on. It's interesting. I agree with you. I think people just like the team and they don't want to have to defend the point. But
yeah.
MJF's getting there. I think he has a ways to go, I've got to be honest, but he's cool. Mustafa Ali has good content. The delivery's not always my thing. Ember Moon, that's very mean. Very, very mean, Kirby. There's no need to bring Ember into this.
What I like about MJF is you could tell that he's making a conscious effort to get away from the just making fun of people with the random childish insults. Like MJ's like that's what he got over on originally. Like, you're a fat pig, ha ha ha. But he's really making a conscious effort to get away from that.
Do you know what was great? Was this week when he hit Dean, and before he hit him, he like stopped himself, right? And then he just punched him anyway, which was basically like he knew full well what he was doing was terrible and wrong, and he just did it anyway.
Isn't that so much better than the Johnny Gargano? Why am I so violent?
Yeah, Johnny's not on this list, is he?
No. God, no. What? No.
Dax Harwood's very good.
Hey, Ciampa.
Come on. Don't. You can't like just be dismissive of John and then be like, "Hey, Tommaso Ciampa." Like, Ciampa's good. He's fine.
Guys. Yeah. What are we doing? What are we doing here?
I don't know.
We know who's at the top.
Wardlow.
Oh. No, I mean maybe, but we know who's at the top. 20-time Distraction Award winner, The Fiend, Bray Wyatt.
He can talk. Bray can talk.
Better promos than Bray.
No one's gonna say he can't talk.
Bray's man, the cult leader stuff. He was an engaging promo. The content was terrible, but he was a good promo. I ain't dunking on him. You know, Jack's been he's opened my eyes on this stuff a lot. I remember when the Observer Awards came out, and it was like just Fiend debate for 2 years, and Jack was like, maybe we just shouldn't do worst, and I was like, maybe he's right. Maybe we don't need to just eviscerate the poor guy.
You're trying to enjoy something. Why shit on something you're trying to love? Makes no sense.
I get it.
Makes no sense to me whatsoever.
Bray is Jack's way. All I'll say about this is Jack's way ahead of the curve on Bray, and he tried to convince me that creative was killing Bray, and I was like, no. And then I realized that yes, that is the case.
Yeah, so that's what the dude. I'm sure I could almost, or I would bet a good amount of money that if you said, Bray, let me see these ideas, and then you looked at them before they were run through that table of assholes, it'd probably look vastly different. And you go, oh, okay. Oh, I like that. But that's just, what? Get them out of here. Fire them all.
Yeah.
I always go back to an interview Steve Austin did years ago, where he said one of the first times he went back to WWE after he was retired, Vince was taking him through. Vince was giving him a tour of the building because they upgraded shit. And Vince was like, this is the writer's room. And Steve was like, what? Like, no pun intended. Steve was really like, what? He's like, yeah. And Steve was like, there was 20 people in there. And I looked at Vince. I said, what do you need them for? What are they doing? Mm-hmm. Vince's like, oh, writing the show, pal. And Steve's like, well, that seems unnecessary.
We started with this, and I think it's worth hitting again. It's like, if you want to actually just do a TV show, then yeah, get writers. That's awesome. The problem is, if they're just doing a shitty wrestling show, you'd be better off just having a booker,
My other question is, like we know that every match has different producers, like a Tyson Kidd, some Adam Pearce, like everyone produces different matches. Obviously the writers are assigned to different storylines. Does nobody vet how those storylines are going to appear on the same show?
No.
And say, hey, this really doesn't mix well here. Like, this is good, this sucks. This is kind of good, this is really terrible.
That is the craziest thing about Raw is, like, I get variety show, but they will, like, smash cut from a Drew promo to a lecture on the swing, and it's like, you just can't do that, man. My brain can't do that. Because, look, I get it's a variety show, there's an audience for everything, but, like, you gotta find a universe that mixes them.
It's a big problem AEW has. I don't know if you guys noticed. I get maybe they're still just learning the TV thing, maybe. But AEW has a huge problem with it, where something will be ended and they'll be like, all right, we're going backstage to Alex Marvez.
It's too hectic.
No. Give this like 2 more minutes to settle here. It's
also, I'm torn on it. I don't like that you have to like watch the YouTube stuff to like fully appreciate storylines. They're starting to frustrate me. Like, the stuff Eddie's doing with the Elite? Yeah. He's cut like 2 great promos on YouTube that they've not even referenced on TV, and that's WWE-ish to me. I don't like that.
Which is surprising, because I really thought AEW would. Like, when people first complained about being the Elite, I was like, no, don't worry. Like, they'll probably find a way to work it into the TNT show, and that really hasn't happened.
But it's not even that. It's like what are those things they make, like the Road 2s? Like the Road to Dynamite. Yeah. Dude, like, if you watch those, they're incredible, but they don't even get shown on television. Like, I get it, but it feels WWE to me. It's like you have to watch Talking Smack to like see a good promo. I don't know. I wouldn't want to, because then what they'll do is they'll wear on TV like this 20-second Eddie promo, and it's like, fuck, just clip in the actual promo, That's just me.
No,
they have a lot of mouths to feed, right? That's the truth of it. If we're being honest, they have a lot of mouths to feed. They've got too many glads, and it's a little bit hectic.
It's okay, because Rampage is coming.
Great name, right? Great name. Are you a Quinton Rampage Jackson guy, Jack Crosby?
I was for a little bit.
Yeah,
he was awesome.
Yeah, I'm not saying you should be anymore. I understand there's not a lot to latch onto at this point. It's sort of.
No, he was.
Louis said about, wouldn't that apply to everyone about Bray? No, because the thing is, Bray is like, he creates like his own universe and stuff, and then they like kill him. It's very sad.
Yeah, look,
take our word for it.
The fact of the matter is, some guys have a longer leash than others, and Bray's one of them, where they're allowed to kind of try their own shit. It's like try their own shit, but like you still have to run it by the bosses first.
Dude, can you believe that he like brought Alexa into his universe and they've just taken him out of it?
Yeah, like
there's not enough talk about how funny that is.
I don't know where this is. Obviously, he's gonna come back at some point, probably before SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Probably the first Raw with people back is when Bray will come back. But that's what it does seem like now. It's like they took Bray's idea and said, but you know what? We think Alexa's better for her.
They're like, we've sold all of this merch we can sell to boys. Now we're going to sell it to young girls as well as old men. That's what we're going to do now. Alexa, step in. It's weird. It's a weird one. I don't know. Because, like, I don't know if it was him that said he doesn't do interviews, right, Jeremy? Right?
Not really, no.
Alexa said that when she came up to SmackDown, like, they were trying to pitch her as Sister Abigail then.
Yeah.
So, like, Bray is he was all in on having her on. It's just now, it's like, I'm no longer involved. Bray's been taken out of his own universe. It's incredible.
This man's getting paid to do nothing. I
get that, but you know he's a creative guy, and he's like, he wants to do shit. Right?
Yeah.
That
what if he's writing? I mean, what if he's writing for Alexa? Alexa was writing the storyline herself, but now.
Is that when she was going to Hollywood? All that shit.
What if Bray is actually writing?
That will still like that. I don't know what's going to come of this, but that was one of the most bizarre things I've ever seen. That WrestleMania match with Randy, that was just the most bizarre friggin' thing I've ever seen.
You know what's sad about that? If you watch, like, and I will never watch it back because it fucked me up. It was maybe very sad, but if you just watch like their presentation and the entrance, the crowd is actually like kind of with it. They're like fired up. Bray comes out of a box. It's like, it's kind of cool. That's wacky. They go out to booze, and it is like the saddest open to a WrestleMania ever. Like, the man just loses. And, like, everyone now has rewritten it as, the crowd hated The Fiend. It's like, no. They hated that The Fiend got pinned by an RKO. That's what they hated.
After he had just resurrected himself from getting burned to a crisp.
Yes.
I think Joseph and I talked about that, where, like, he just walked through and they did a little fancy CGI, and then he's like, okay.
I feel so bad for him. I think Jack's a pretty big fan of Shayna. And like we actually reviewed that pay-per-view this week, and I was just like, I honestly couldn't say a bad word about these two women because I think they're trying so hard, and it's just
Becky Lynch herself has said that the mistake was not putting the title on her at WrestleMania. Like, Becky didn't want to win that match.
Yeah, Becky tried to lose it.
Right.
Vince was
she did not want to win that match.
She's basically been dead since too, because Shayna's like, she gets pinned at every turn. It just bums me out because it's like, I know how these things work. And we were talking about worst towards a minute ago. It's like, and all of this stuff comes. Alexa and Shayna are the ones that get, worst match, worst gimmick. Alexa, it's just like, they're trying, man. This shit just sucks. There's no saving it.
I don't know how anyone couldn't look at that last year as an opportunity to say, okay, Shayna goes over Becky. Becky's going away for a while.
Right.
Shayna goes over Becky, takes that title. Now, if we keep the title on, because we don't know when people are coming back. This is all new. This pandemic. So we don't know how long we're in this. We don't know what's going on. But no matter what, we have a good idea. Or you can bring Becky right back to go after Shayna. Like, so if this thing's going on, right, and say it gets to like November, December, and Shayna's title run is getting kind of stale, you say, all right, we'll take the title off her. But when we get the word that we could have people, we put the title right back on Shayna. Or when we could have people and Becky is going to come back, we put the title right back on Shayna, and then, boom, Becky comes for her.
So, it's mentioned in the chat, and I think it's worth talking about it. So, the Elimination Chamber was a match they sacrificed in terms of quality to make Shayna, right? Yep. They said, forget stars, forget excitement, we're going to make Shayna. So, I personally, Cyclops Ben Logan mentioned this, and I'm the same. I didn't love Shayna as, like, divisional centerpiece. I didn't think it was particularly interesting. This is just me, right? Something happened in that 6 weeks from Elimination Chamber to Mania because she won, and there's a match that everyone talked about at the time, and I think it mattered, where she wrestled Kairi Sane, and the people just they just said no. They did the boring chants, and I just think Heyman at some point couldn't convince him anymore, And so Joe Ben says the crowd hated the Chamber thing, and it's like, I think Heyman was the one trying to make Shayna, and I think as soon as the ball started rolling against him, we know he lost the job, but 2 months later? I think that was the end. I don't think Vince ever saw anything in Shayna.
No, I don't think so either. No. I don't think so either.
No, he definitely didn't. Like, you're right. Like, so they did the Chamber match, and that was clearly designed to make Shayna, and it seemed like they were going with it. The crowd didn't like it. I don't remember this Kairi Sane match. I'll take your word for it. That the crowd
could not be.
I do.
Could have made it.
I do remember
that the crowd turned on it. clearly, like, Shayna was a Heyman person. Like, Heyman wanted to push her and make her. Like, Heyman couldn't convince her. I mean, Becky couldn't convince him of, like, hey, I need to drop the title here. And Vince was just like, no. Like, so he wasn't going to do it there. Vince just clearly never saw what others and Heyman saw in her. Just, like, push her as this badass ass kicker and just let her roll. I mean, she was the NXT champion for however long she was the NXT Women's Champion.
I have to be honest, though. I think when I look at the amount of women they've had signed over the last 5 years, whatever, it's an all-star lineup. I've got to be real, I'm not losing sleep over the Shayna thing. Like, I think they've missed bigger opportunities, frankly. I do. I don't speak for myself.
I do think people have, like, revisionist history on Shayna's, like, NXT Women's Championship run, where everyone wants to say, like, this is how you book her. Just book her as this dominant badass.
It doesn't make it good, though, right? Just because it's the right way to book her doesn't make it better for the division.
Right, and, like, dude, people, especially by the end, were just, like, people wanted, like, Bianca to end that run. Then it lasted, like, another 6 months. They're like, why are we still doing this with Shayna? Like, it got very dull and very boring. It is the correct way to book her. Like, yes, she's a badass. She should, like, run through people. But does that mean she should just rule the entire division? Probably not. Could they still book her better? Obviously. Like,
I know it's early. It's way too early, but are they trying to do everything in their power to ruin Rhea Ripley?
I think they're past that. They're past.
I've been worried about Rhea since before she even came up, and I just...
Because remember the night she beat Shayna for that title?
Right.
You looked at Rhea and you were like, holy shit, there's something here. And
yeah. I just get the sense that she's... How do I say this? I think she's a wonderfully talented performer with charisma and star presence.
Yeah.
I think she thrives in a system where people make a point of prioritising her in a way that, frankly, the WWE main roster doesn't. They have a sink or swim mentality.
Yeah.
And I think my instincts have been, since before she came out in Germany, and tell you this, I have feared that she just won't thrive in that setup. Does that make sense? Like, to me, she's someone you go, Rhea, we love what you've got. You don't have to worry about your lack of your promo's not great. To me, WWE tries to crowbar people into that system. I don't think she's a fit for it. It's worried me for some time, and I think her run so far is kind of showing it, right? Like, I think she's getting overproduced, and she's coming across like someone without charisma, and it's like, man, she had so much star presence. Like, yeah, as a fan of hers, because I love her, I think it's a real shame, but I'm not confident right now about where she's at, I gotta say.
It sucks. It really does suck.
But that's why I am in fear of making this about something else. It's like, that's why we need major league alternative promotions, because not everyone's going to fit.
Have you heard of this show on, I don't know what fucking channel it's on anymore, but it's called Fusion?
I've heard of it. The Major Leagues?
Major Leagues, Joseph.
Jack loves MLW.
Jack, have you ever seen an episode of MLW?
I forget who. No, but I forget who I was.
I forget. No, I forget.
One of my mutuals the other day was just having a conversation. It's weird with MLW. I was at first, like when they put the world title on low key. I said, "Fuck this place, not doing it. Seems cool, but sorry, you lost me." But anyway, he's gone out of there. So I'll say to myself every once in a while, I should check it because it seems like something I would like. It's like, all right, it seems like something I could get into. All right. I just never remember. I have Vice. I could watch it. I just never remember.
It's a lot of wrestling on. So to that point, we've got a question. Is there room for a third major promotion? So I've talked about this a lot. It would have to be a product.
AEW's doing well.
But it would have to be a product, in my view, that is built around, an event every couple of weeks rather than weekly TV. I think the weekly TV market is absolutely spent. I think there's a world in which a product that's with the right streaming service or right platform that just tries to build big fights. I think there's a world where that sticks. I think as far as Impact, Ring of Honor, MLW, their TV viewership just is what it is, and they could have me on it, they could have Brock Lesnar on it. It's going to do the same amount because people just watch enough wrestling, right? So many options. It'd have to be something different, is what I'm saying. I don't think there is room, but that's what it would have to be if it's going to be.
I think GCW actually does a good job of this.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's exactly the model. As weird as it sounds, I think it's the model, just with a different.
Yes, obviously. Like
Right.
they're going to cap themselves with their style and
that's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
You
that's
can't
fine.
like right now you're telling people right now, watch Raw on Monday, watch SmackDown on Friday, watch Dynamite on Wednesday, watch Rampage on Friday night. Well, because we'll lump Rampage, it's almost here. Watch Rampage on Friday night. Like, don't come out of the blue and tell me, all right, I want you to start watching this every week, because I'm going to say, nah, not happening.
Yeah. So this is just me fantasy booking and thinking out loud. Like, if we were to handpick some guys from the other promotions, I think you could sell events that got people's attention once, twice a month. Like, so for example, Joker Fatu's been mentioned about 25 times since we said MLW. We all want to see Joker Fatu. We're not watching TV. We can't commit another hour.
Exactly.
Now, if you do a countdown show on YouTube and tell me that Joker Fatu is fighting on this day against this dude, I want to see him fight, you may have me for those 3 hours. Do you see what I'm saying? And that's where, to me, wrestling. But I understand why it will never happen, is because the main money is broadcast, is getting TV rights that want weekly content. So you're lost a little bit. But that would be my.
Oh, so what? That's what I wanted to ask, because I'm gonna have to depart soon. I'll let you guys know. We're pretty close. What did you fellas think? What's your take on this whole bullshit that just happened with Hell in a Cell about NBC getting mad and then Fox getting mad and then NBC getting mad again? So basically, WWE just said, "Here, take all of the Hell in a Cells."
So, this is one of those situations that I never imagined could be a problem until I sat there and I kind of thought, to be fair to Fox, they're building matches for Peacock.
Yes, it's true. Like, look, and my thing is, like, here's where I will fault WWE for a lot of things.
Right.
I do not fault WWE here because they got $2 billion from Fox. They got $1 billion from USA for Raw. Then they pocketed another $1 billion from NBC to buy the network. They have done nothing. WWE has done nothing wrong here. But somebody from Fox had to at least think and be like, now, I understand. The deal was done in 2018, 2019 with Fox. Like, nobody from Fox had to say, hey, man, is there any way whatsoever that your relationship with NBC could go a little deeper, that it becomes a problem for us? And somebody would say, oh, I mean, if they wanted to maybe buy the network someday, I don't know, we might sell it to them. Like, nobody thought of this. Nobody vetted this in a meeting or did the what ifs.
So,
like,
are we locked into, like, NBC Universal is buying WWE if someone's buying it? Are we writing off any other alternative?
I will not write off Disney.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm not writing off Disney.
Not write off Disney. Look, here's, and there were some people on the internet that I don't know, because I tweeted about this when it happened. It was like, look, here's the deal. If Amazon paid $8.5 billion for MGM Studios,
Yeah.
do you realize what WWE is going to sell?
It's a lot of money.
MGM Studios is selling you on the promise of, we'll make some movies here and there. WWE is selling a buyer on, hey man, we'll give you every single Monday, we'll give you every single Friday, we'll give you once a month. We just keep that wheel going, baby. It never stops.
So here's the thing, though, right? I know you got to go, but I need to talk because I'm intrigued. So Disney and Amazon come up in the chat, and you said Disney.
Yeah.
If Disney buy it, what do they do with the shows? Do they go on ESPN?
Here's another thing where people are getting, and I asked the lawyer about this because I'm so intrigued by this because
Yes.
I'm at the point now where WWE is going to be sold in my lifetime. I'm convinced of that. Like, it's something I never thought we're going to see it. So I'm asking people, like, hey, so what? Here's what a lot of people, when the conversation was prevalent a few weeks ago, everybody said, oh, Vince gone. What are we going to do with Vince gone? You realize that they could do a sale contingent upon Vince McMahon staying on to watch over everything.
Right.
Yeah.
So nothing's going to change. Just because WWE gets sold doesn't mean Vince McMahon is going to vanish.
Right.
That's not what this means. So
Yes.
That seems to be like the misconception that people have is that, like, yeah, if Vince is selling, that means he's done. Which I get why you would think that, because Vince is not sold for the entire time. He's like, all right, it's a mom and pop shop. I'm gonna keep running it. But Vince could sell and still be the guy who just runs the thing. He just made more money.
I think most people get this, but like basically the idea of buying WWE is, why pay them money to air their TV shows? We'll just own the product, and then we have their content. We can spread it across our networks. Right? That's basically the ideology. If an NBC Universal bought it, they would no longer have to pay $1 billion to air Raw. They would have Raw and SmackDown in house. Is the idea.
Right.
So that's what I mean. Like, does Disney put it on Disney Plus? They put it on ESPN? What does that look like?
Yeah, I would imagine ESPN.
I probably ESPN. Now I do know from
the pay-per-views would be on Disney Plus.
Like if you like, the thing with Disney is that makes it really interesting is there's a rift right now because they tried to buy the network too, obviously, and got shut down. Now, if you go to ESPN.com and you look, you will notice that their wrestling coverage has dipped significantly because when that happened, there was kind of all right then, fuck you, sort of. And people are taking that as, well, Disney's not going to buy it. It's like, no. Disney's not out of the running for this. Like, yeah, they felt they got screwed over in the network deal by WWE selling to NBC instead of them. But they could very well pop back in and say, well, guess what? Now we're just going to own the whole goddamn thing.
Would the network, again, I know you go, but quickly, in your view, if they bought the network, would that have just been like another panel on Disney Plus? Because that's what they do. They just like buy.
It would just been like Peacock. It would just been like Peacock.
It's just so weird to me. I don't know.
I mean,
this is where we're headed, I guess. So we'll
if I were Disney, if I'm thinking of my consumers, what I would do, because you have that bundle, it's, let me see if I get this right. Disney Plus,
Hulu,
ESPN Plus, and Hulu.
Yeah.
I would look at people being really pissed off about Peacock right now, and I would set up the old WWE network as an option for them.
That probably would be the smart play.
Is what I would do. I would say, look, don't get lost in ESPN Plus, don't get lost in Hulu. You got your 4 options, and WWE's one of them.
Okay, I get that. Yeah.
Because did they say the goal was by SummerSlam to have everything integrated from the old network to Peacock? Are they even close to that?
I think they're getting there. I actually do.
I don't
know. Look, the territory stuff.
Of the network on Peacock.
Dude, I don't think the territory stuff's just ever like getting there. But like WCW, I think they're chipping away. I think they got Nitro up, so I don't know.
I watched WrestleMania episode 1, season 13.
The first time I saw that, I was almost in tears laughing when they did to it. Almost in legit tears.
It's so funny the way they set that up. It's hilarious.
And it's such bullshit to navigate through too.
It apparently sucks. Everyone tells me it sucks.
I legit, like, I don't watch it enough because I don't like wrestling. I'm not gonna watch any wrestling. But like when I do use it, the navigation is it's so bad. It's always like behind. Like, it's behind the YouTube feed, it's behind the network feed, it's behind the illegal feeds. Like, it's just always behind on stuff, and so it's tough. Like, I don't like being on Twitter anyway. But
it's a sign of the times though, because NBC just wanted it as an asset. It's not a priority; it's an asset.
No, that's all right now.
The biggest asset you could have is a digital streaming service.
Yep.
You don't have to care about it. You don't have to but if you own it as an asset, you're set. And that's all they did here.
That's why AEW does all, like, it's just nowadays surviving is a matter of producing as many hours of harmless content as possible. Content. Yeah, it's literally, we can all talk about the details, and I think AEW cares, Impact maybe. Look, man, the job is producing a whole bunch of content that gets no one in trouble. You do that, you haven't got a chance.
We went through how many months of the whole ratings talk and shit like that. And look at their ratings. Oh, they're dipping this week. Warner Media gave them $45 million.
Jack got the warning.
Yes, they did. No, you're right. We overanalyze stuff that obviously doesn't matter, right?
Like, Warner Media gave them $45 million and said, here's another show. And then they moved Dynamite to TBS, which is in how many more millions households around the country. than TNT.
It's cheap content that does pretty good numbers,
Exactly.
man.
Yeah.
It's cheap. They don't have to put any effort into it.
No, you just have to hope that like they don't sign Nick Gage and he doesn't say something crazy in a promo.
Which again goes by whomever buys WWE is gonna make Vince stay on, because they're gonna say we don't want to do that.
He's the wrestling guy.
See, I don't know necessarily if. And Jack, if you gotta go, please don't let us keep you. I
got five.
Your exploding barbed wire death match alarm went off there, so. I would imagine that like whoever buys it, whoever it is, I don't know if they want Vince to stay on, but they obviously they don't want to. They're not gonna be like booking and writing these shows. It's gonna be like, yeah, just keep your.
What? No, guys. What if
Joseph? We're trying to get the NWA first.
Guys, what if they bring everybody into a room, and they say, and they start reading off names? If we read off your name, you're all fired.
Yeah.
And the only name they don't read off is Bruce Pritchard.
That'll happen, honestly.
I was imagining a press conference, right, with the Disney suits. Now, we want larger than life characters, and there's only one guy that's shown an ability to create those over the last decade. Our new CEO, the Fiend Bray Wyatt, and the music comes in, and he's like, he's got the mask. This is like
Bray's in the next Avengers movie.
Shit. You guys are. This is the dream right here.
This is a TW save, bro. Just the Fiend runs WWE, just hires like nothing but friends.
We thought about doing this one. Is the Fiend Wrestling Federation or whatever? Yeah. We tried to figure out who his favorite wrestlers were so we could hire them.
It may happen soon, man. Like, there's a chance Bray's booking it though,
because those moves that Nick Khan dude is making is definitely to sell that place.
Feels like it, yeah. Certainly.
Yeah, that's what everyone seems to think.
Oh, it's definitely. But the thing that gets people want it now, and they don't understand that getting a lucrative business like WWE ready for a sale could take years to truly get it ready to be sold.
Yeah, it'll be a while.
Yeah, Nick hasn't even been there like a year. Legit. I think he got hired last August, so it hasn't been a year.
But looking back in hindsight, when they did those hires, when they got rid of Barrios and Wilson, and then started bringing all these other people in, that when you look back and see where their backgrounds were, it all makes sense that they were brought in to get the business side in order to get sold. And look. Again, MGM Studios sold for $8.5 billion. I saw so many people who actually know that said that place ain't worth $8.5 billion, but that's what they got.
WWE's gonna get Vince. They're gonna all get bank on this. They're getting bank on TV deals.
Out of interest, do you guys think that Nick Khan has stuffed Triple H into a locker yet? Because I do.
Triple H has to hate that guy. Hates him.
They just fire people, and he doesn't know. Tremendous stuff. Like, he's owned completely. What's going on with the guy?
He got Sammy Joe back. It's fine.
He did. Yeah, he did.
It's fine.
Fuck him.
Like, how awkward is the conversation going to be after the sale when they bring in like Stephanie and they get the office space? Like, the guys sit her down and go, "Now, what is it? Would you say you do here?" And when Stephanie gives her answer, they're like, "But what do you do?"
Hang on, but will this be as good as when they sit Paul down and they go, "What do we actually do with this NXT UK brand?" And he's like, well, this guy Walter has some cool matches down there, let me tell you.
What is an NXT TakeOver Blackpool?
Yes.
What is that? And why are we spending 1.2 million on it? What is this?
Looks like it was watched by 300 people on the streaming platform.
The thing is, we joked. I remember Jack coming on in a long time. I was going to say years. I've only done the show for 18 months, but he came on a long time ago, right? And we joked about this, and we were saying someone is going to look at these books eventually and be like, "Why are we paying this guy this much?" We were right on that, right? I mean, some of the cuts recently were full on. Guys, that's what happened.
Somebody, I don't know who. Oh, I hope it was Nick Khan, and I hope there was like a hidden video when they showed him Braun Strowman's contract.
Right.
And he went. The guy with the choo-choo sounds makes over $1 million.
See, but this is the thing people miss, and I try to stress it. In their universe, they can get a guy in NXT to be as useful. And that's the problem for wrestlers, is their value in WWE is so low, because there's always, like, we joke about Karrion Kross, dude. They could just have Karrion Kross on Raw. He's cheaper, you know. Like, it's a cycle, man. You got to be very careful to not make yourself like just replaceable, which most guys are.
And if anyone ever audits those books, I know we said it a while ago, but it still rings true today. If anyone ever went in there, you realize how much they would want to just cut off at the head immediately.
They would look at it and be like, why do we need two brands? Let's just use one group of talent, 40 guys.
Somebody might go in there and go, well, wait a minute. Why do we do pay-per-views every month? It seems people aren't interested in that. Would there be more viewers total if you just hyped up bigger shows on like every 3 months? Is that better to do?
This is a big thing with with that Roman thing. That sets a very interesting precedent. Very interesting, because that Roman thing could become common, where he just does the SmackDown main events. Fox may just be like, "That's what we want. What do you want?" And then you get into an interesting one. But we shall see.
I just can't believe we live in a world, guys, where we finally we get Roman Reigns at his peak against a legend like Rey Mysterio, and a pissing contest between TV networks.
Yeah. Business has changed. Business has changed, Jack.
All right, my friends. This has been fun.
It has. It's been tremendous.
I have to go do some yard work now.
Have
a good evening, pal.
A lot less fun than this. Thank you, Jack.
I will see you guys later. Thank you.
Enjoy Impact Wrestling, Jack. the great Jack Crosby.
There you go. Okay.
Well, what a great closing shot of Jack that was. Just grinning.
That was a great shot.
That was fun.
Are we still?
We got all of that out of Bob O'Neill. All of it, and we never invited Bob on. Tremendous.
I mean, we don't need O'Neill on here. He wasn't in the chat. Honestly, if he'd been in the chat and he said something, I would have been like, "Hey, O'Neill, do you want to come on?" But
disagree.
Thank God he didn't. He wasn't there. Having
Jack on, he's like booking the big dog Roman Reigns to be on your podcast, and then putting Bob next to him is like, "And we can also have Seth if you would like to." You know, I'm not going to ask Seth any questions. I'm intrigued what Roman thinks. Tremendous. You know, I started the other day, Jeremy. I was working very hard, and I was like, I need some sort of, sideway gimmick here to pop me while I'm not doing this stuff. So I was like, okay, it's finally time to do the NWA TEW thing. Oh my! Got about 5 minutes into looking at the potential names. I was like, you know what? I'm just not going to do this. How about that? How about I just don't do this? That was my conclusion. I told you.
I had like one night. I just thought of just like, what if I just modern day start today, and I just booked NWA, and I gave it some like legit serious 3 minutes of a thought, and then I was like, this sounds like a terrible idea. I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, and the other thing is, you know how my brain works. Like, the free agents, I can't make a move until I see where they will land, because what will happen is I'll start the game and then Bud Murphy will be on Dynamite. I'll be like, oh, now I've ruined everything, because now why is he in NWA? He should be on Dynamite. It's very, my brain's bad. Like the NBA, dude. The amount of shit I want to do on my NBA or NBA 2K, my NBA thing, and I'm just like, nope. I need to wait to see how the season ends. I can't, because I'll start, do you know what I mean? And then something will happen.
See, this is why I just do like fantasy draft gimmicks, because especially like all time fantasy draft gimmicks, because I'm not ruining shit with those. Right. I did one like 2 weekends ago. Dude, let's talk some basketball right fast.
We have to.
I mean, I know it's gonna hurt Joseph, but Trae Young, really fucking good.
Like, I don't know. I'm
really
not like,
good.
I wasn't one of those guys that watched the series like, I hate this dude. Like, he's awesome.
Yeah. So I did the fantasy draft gimmick a couple weekends ago, and like I just wanted to use Trae Young because he's fun to watch, and he's just like excellent. He's really good.
I wish Eddie Kingston did get to fight him though, because that would have helped our chances a lot. But,
I think so. It's like, it's super impressive what he's doing. It's like that Hawks team. This one might hurt. That Hawks team ain't that good. Like,
no, it's not. I said this because they're fine. Like, we're just all losers.
Yeah, like that Hawks team is like fine, but like they're not like that great. Like their second best player is John Collins. Like, John Collins is a nice little player, everything nice, like, but what Trey is doing with that team is something special. Like he is good. I don't know. I still think the Bucks are going to end up winning the series, but the Bucks got the same problem that the Sixers have. Is they got their OKC East mentality of like they're just losers and flawed, and they find a way to fuck up situations that they should win. And Trey doesn't have experience of doing that, and sometimes you just can't shake that, like that thing. You just can't shake it. OKC couldn't even win a lottery. Couldn't even get top 4 in the lottery. They just got the loser juice on them.
What do you think about Ben Simmons in Chicago? Have you seen this?
Is this
Zach's contract running down?
Is that what they're talking about? Levine for Simmons?
That's not the Woj report. Was they met in Chicago? That's not one.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
that's not.
Okay,
but like, there's a lot of talk about because Levine's on an expiring that they assume there's a chance he doesn't re-sign. That could be the move.
Yeah, I think a lot of people misread that and they said Simmons like potentially going to Chicago. Yeah, because I saw a lot of people talking about that. I was like, they just met in Chicago. I don't think that means anything else.
No, there was someone I can't remember what scoops they had it in their like column, but he was like, with Vucevic, like he's a center that could play with Ben, right? Like they would get a guy back rather than just losing Levine. Sure. No, I don't know. I just was interested on you reading it because as a Sixers fan, obviously I'm too lost on the whole thing.
I think if you're Levine for Simmons, you take that if you're the Sixers. I think you're taking kind of like anything right now, right? But
no, I don't want Ben Simmons for the next year, both for our sake and his. I ain't like
what's the lowest you're selling on him? McCollum?
See, that's the one that I just like. I ain't getting fired up about CJ, man. I know he's a great scorer, but obviously you do the deal, but it's just I just don't think that team has that high of a ceiling. See, like then I agree, Levine and Simmons straight up doesn't make sense, but Levine's got 1 year on his deal and Simmons has got 4, which matters because if Chicago doesn't think they can re-sign him, they're like just stuck with Vucevic.
Yeah, his value's if you're Chicago and you're trading Levine for Simmons, you're moving Vucevic. Like that's a terrible fit. That's a terrible fit.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Why? Vucevic shoots the ball, right?
He's another like post guy though.
But here's the thing. There's not a fit for. This is the problem. Is bless Ben. He's a pain in the arse. There is no fit. You just have 4 guys that shoot.
Right. Your fit legitimately for Simmons is like you need him to be. He can't be your first guy. I don't think that. I think that's the biggest thing. Is like he can't be your first guy.
It should be. Portland's the team that I think should try it because their team, they've run it 101 times. Just do something different. Right?
See, somebody in the chat, who is it? Acharius. He said people are saying Simmons to Golden State and the Sixers get Wiggins in a first. I'd hate that if I was Sixers, but I legitimately pitched. Again, I don't like this trade at all for the Sixers. I'm sorry, Joseph. I pitched this last week when I was talking with Phil. Sixers Simmons to the Warriors makes sense to me, and you use him alongside Clay and Steph. You move Wiggins. I would imagine the Warriors have a high first pick. Maybe they don't, but you could get Wiseman, and then you flip Wiseman because I think there's still value in Wiseman. You can't play Wiseman and Embiid together, so you flip Wiseman. You get some type of guard. Wiggins was good defensively this year. Like you don't want him as your lead guard, but if
you'd have to move Draymond.
Yeah.
You can't move him because no one in the world wants Draymond.
See that it's tough, but I did pitch Simmons to the Warriors because like that's where he could be good at. But Simmons to the Blazers is kind of the same thing. Like you need him with a top tier scoring guard who's going to move off the ball.
Look, if I'm Ben Simmons' agent and I can get him to the Warriors and Draymond's not going to be there, that would be incredible for him because you'd have the 2 best shooters in the league.
Yeah.
He could be like a small ball 5, play some 4.
He could basically just be Draymond.
Be Draymond, right?
Yeah.
But like he's obviously so much more dynamic athletically.
Yes.
So yeah, but like there's a lot of moving pieces there because who's taking Draymond? Because you can't play them together. It'd be awful.
I will tell you. I will tell you who will take Draymond if you attach some draft picks to it.
You know, I mean, like, I don't know. I'm a Sixers fan who knows that at this point we've seen enough playoff Ben. Time to go, right? But I am also a basketball fan that's like, I'm intrigued by Ben Simmons in a place that suits him, you know?
Yeah.
So the Warriors is like, sounds fun. It's difficult. To me, the Portland one stands out because, again, like, I'm not excited about CJ, but like I get it. And if I'm Portland, it's like, look, man, our defense sucks, and Ben is nothing if not an elite defender. And he just gives you something different. You can't keep running this CJ thing back forever.
No, this is why I'm so interested in the off season's always better than the regular season, especially when your team sucks in the regular season or in the playoffs, which is every year it seems like. I feel like there's just gonna be a lot of teams that are gonna be desperate to make some type of move, right? Like I feel like Portland's got to be desperate. Obviously, the Sixers got to be desperate, dude. If the Bucks lose this, the thing with the Bucks is like their move is just firing their coach because they ain't traded Giannis. Middleton is pretty much locked in. Holiday's locked in. Like you just fire your coach and work around the fringes there. The Mavericks, they got to be desperate to make a move. I think the Pacers do some shit now that they got Carlisle. That team doesn't feel quite like a Carlisle team. Like I think they get shaken up a little bit.
Indeed.
To where to where like I think Brogdon, maybe Sabonis, like there's guys on that team that are good and can fit other places that Carlisle will want out. And obviously like OKC, they got these draft picks. They got the cap space. They're willing to do a bunch of dumb shit because they don't care. They're gonna punt on this season once again, and teams can use. I saw one trade that was good for OKC, and it was like they get Kevin Love at number 3. Porzingis goes to Cleveland, and then Kemba goes to Dallas, and a bunch of draft picks end up moving. But from an OKC perspective, we get Love at number 3, sure.
See, this is where Luka is like we love Luka, okay? This is where he could become a problem of sorts because any player that dribbles the ball, you say him to the Mavs, and I'm like, I mean, Luka takes every possession.
Yeah,
and he's fine, he's incredible. But like, you've said it to me for about LeBron, where it's like LeBron is incredible, one of the greatest basketball players ever. But the way that he plays the game means that anyone that has any sort of their own, like, they want to run a possession, it's like, you kind of look at him with LeBron and go, because LeBron doesn't want to play off ball, really, does he? He wants the ball in his hands. Well, I'm not an expert on Luka, do you know what I mean? I get the sense he's pretty similar. I mean, he had the ball in his hands every single possession in the playoffs I saw. To me, that makes him difficult. Now, here's the thing. If you're trying to move off KP, it's like, maybe you just take a guy like Kemba because it's not him. Maybe. I don't know.
And I think that would be the reasoning for it. The thing with Luka, I said this actually like last year. It's very Harden and Houston-esque, where it's just like, yeah, and you mentioned LeBron, like every possession is just going through him, and he's great ISO player, can obviously run the pick and roll, he can do everything, but like every possession's got to go through him, and you got to do one of two things here. Like, you've got to basically stagger like they did in Houston, where it's like, okay, your turn, my turn kind of stuff with like Chris Paul. Right. Or you've got to kind of do what they've done with Atlanta, of you just got to surround him with the right role players. Because Trae Young takes most of those possessions too. But Trae Young, like, you surround him with shooters, you have Capella, and you just give him options on every possession. You don't really have that with Luka. Like, Luka, especially once they traded Curry for Richardson, which was a horrible trade from a Dallas perspective. Like, you took away shooters in that regard. Like, your center was like Kleber. Porzingis wasn't even moving. Like, he didn't give a shit. Like, he wasn't going to be the guy to set like screens and stuff. Like, you gotta rightly build around that if you can't get a second star. And I don't know if that's Kemba, but at least Kemba offers some spacing and can, like, if you're going to sit Luka, can stop the bleed. Because their bench sucked. Like, whenever Luka sat, it's like nobody knows what they're doing. At least Kemba can create when Luka's on the bench.
Yes. The thing with that stuff is, it is hard because those guys for Dallas that would miss a big shot, it's like, it's the same as what you just mentioned with the Rockets, with Harden. It's like they haven't touched the ball in half an hour. Yeah. You know? It is difficult. I'm not saying, I ain't trying to hate on it or anything. Like, he's like a 21-year-old guy that's putting up like 40-point triple doubles. I'm just saying that there may come a time, and it's a long way away because he's only a couple years in, but there may come a time where it's like, maybe we need to change how we're doing this. Now, Trae Young's suggestion, as you just pointed out, no, you can win big with one guy surrounded by shooting, but it's like, I also think part of Trae Young's success is, thankfully, he is a tough courageous player playing against a bunch of coward losers that try to lose games. So it's very difficult. And the thing is, with the NBA, I'm not an expert on the NBA. I've only watched for a couple of years, but I try really hard to like temper myself when I'm thinking about what teams can and can't win, because I'm looking at this playoffs right now, Jeremy, and it's tearing up a lot of my assumptions. Okay, let me tell you, it's tearing up a lot of my assumptions, because I did not think that Hawks team. I thought the Knicks were going to give them hell. So, you know, what I'm saying is, don't listen to me. There should be people. What I'm saying is, the game's evolving. People should be open-minded about what can win. That's my point. You know. So, sure, man. Kemba's still good, but he's just like, when a player gets traded for something like Hulbert, bless Al, it sends a message to the league, right? Like, that dude physically is obviously, he's gone through it.
Like, yes and no, that like it may send a message to the league. There's still a lot of value in just having a second ball handler who can create his own shot, you know? Like,
yes.
Like Boston just, it didn't fit there, and it was just time. Like, they tried to, like, that relationship was just toxic because they tried to trade him last offseason and it didn't work. And then he was injured and everything this year. And so it just became a toxic thing of, okay, we need to move off of him. And people around the league, GMs are very stupid, Joseph. Like, there's just a lot of dumb GMs out there. So a lot of people are just going to look at it as, well, it was his time was up in Boston. Brad Stevens obviously likes Al Horford. Sure, why wouldn't they go and make this move? You know, like, this doesn't say anything about Kemba. This says more about Brad Stevens and what Boston wants to do.
I agree, but like, when this deal was mentioned, I thought it was like a rib. And then I said it to you, this was months ago. I was like, wow, you could get Kemba for Al Horford. Like, we traded Danny Green to get rid of Al Horford. It's just weird. I get, you're right. Like, Stevens obviously likes Hulbert. That team is, we both think Tatum could be the one on a championship team, right?
Yeah. Yes. He's very good.
So we can lock that in. Needs some guard play though, right? You've got two great wings, but I would like, I'd like some sort of, playmaking on the floor. Just a nice savvy point guard would be cool, because that's their forward. Like, it feels. I mean, I guess Fournier.
I mean, they're using like Marcus Smart as like their playmaker.
That can work. I like Marcus Smart. I'm not going to slander, but seems, I don't know. They got Udoka as the coach, right? So we'll see. Yeah. He's very highly thought of. I mean, he was great for us last year alongside Brett. We had a really good time with it.
I mean, he's the first. Dude,
Horford's he's got in Boston, and he's like, man, you should see the shit they were doing me in Philadelphia. I was running small forward, and in comes Udoka, and he's like, I was there. It was incredible what the Nets going to do. I don't know. Kyrie's interested in watching that whole thing.
Do the Nets like really need to do anything? Like, if they just get Kyrie, Durant, and they just need to be healthy, right?
But here's the thing: you can have bad luck with injuries. I love watching Kyrie Irving play basketball, but this is like, how many playoffs has he missed? I feel like he missed last year's, right? Or was he just not playing in the bubble? I can't remember. I might be wrong with that. Was he injured for the playoffs?
I think he was injured, and then I think he was just. It might have been a combination of both, that he was injured and he wasn't going to play anyway.
Well, that team sucked anyway.
Yeah.
But like, it feels like he gets hurt a lot, man. You know.
Yeah.
And at some point, you can't really be surprised when you get to the playoffs and like, oh, Kyrie got hurt. It's like, yeah, of course he did. And I love watching him. It's just a shame.
And Frequency says they need a center. Like, yeah, maybe they get Blake back on a cheap deal or something. Dude, I still believe
paying him. Someone's paying Blake.
Yeah, probably.
You know it. It.
See, somebody will take a cheap deal and just come to that team, because they'll be like, oh, Kyrie, Harden, Durant, if they're healthy, I'll just slot right in. It'll be fine. I'll just play defense. Dwight Howard's going to just take money to go there, some shit. Like,
how dare you?
Is he on a 2-year deal with the Sixers?
No, but he's Philly for life, bro. You know that.
Is he? Okay.
Philly for life.
Andre Drummond.
Do you remember when JJ Redick was like, I have no intention of leaving Brooklyn, so I will stay on the East Coast if I can, and I am very loyal to the Philadelphia 76ers, and then fucking, what's his name? The Pelicans GM. Bald hoop. What's his name?
I don't remember his name.
You know the guy, he's very famous, Jim.
David
he had LeBron
Griffin?
and yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, how about $26 million over 2 years? And JJ's like, I'm moving to New Orleans. I also liked when JJ was like fired up that they didn't trade him where he wanted to be traded. It's like, dude, I love you, JJ, but it's not. You're not that guy, right? But Drummond, oh yeah, that's tremendous.
I told you,
the Drummond thing was.
Yeah, frequency says Cousins. Like one of these veteran guys will just be like, "Yeah, I'll go to the Nets and just do whatever they want me to do." Try to just ring chase with them, especially if Cousins doesn't get one this year.
Cousins wouldn't really be taking a cheap deal. That's just his deals now, right?
Right, exactly.
They'll be fine. I agree with you. They just got to be healthy. I think there's a chance that happens with Urban, but we shall see.
But that team would have won the title this year if they're healthy. Yeah.
If we're being really honest with each other, as much as he wants to be involved in significant, playoff championship winning basketball, Kyrie Irving at this point in his life is made to be the star of a small market. He's made. He's made, Jeremy. You put him out there with 4 absolute bums. He shoots the ball 40 times a night. He gets some cool highlights where he does his handle and puts people on their ass. Like, this is what we need from Kyrie. I don't need the guy to be getting stressed out about this show. I want him to just have fun. Tank Commander Kyrie Irving is saying we can rock with, right? We need this. This is just me. Serge Ibaka. Yeah, the Clippers are interesting. I don't know.
Do the Clippers implode if they're eliminated?
They just pray every night.
I legit don't think so, because they made the conference finals without Kawhi. I think they look at it as like, man, if we had Kawhi, we could have just made a serious run at this. I really think
agree.
And so I think that's going to be their thought. I mean, Kawhi can opt out and go elsewhere, and so if he goes elsewhere and you're led by Paul George, who knows who's like staying, leaving after that. But I really think that they look at it as, hey, if we had Kawhi, we could win this. LeBron's another year older. Davis is still always hurt. I mean, the Suns, let's say they win the title, can they repeat? Not if Chris Paul doesn't come back. The Jazz is another team that just feels like they need to make a move, right? Like,
they're fucked.
Oof.
No, listen. I say these things about Ben Simmons. There are general managers that will be interested in Ben. I have no clue what you do with Rudy Gobert. I have not the slightest. Do you? I get it. Some GMs are like, well, defensively, we've seen it in the playoffs now, dude. Because the defensive part is the issue in the playoffs, and he gives you no offense. He hasn't got a post game.
See, so this is my issue with Gobert. Is yes, you can just stretch him out, and he's not guarding the perimeter at all. And I think he'd do great against the Bucks, because the Bucks just don't hit shots in the playoffs. But defensively, yes, I get that. My issue with Gobert is Pat Bev was on him on switches and shit. Nobody was hitting him on the roll. You couldn't take advantage of it.
Nothing there.
Legitimately, my favorite play that the Jazz ran was Gobert sets a screen, and then he calls for the ball as he rolls to the basket, and no one passes him the ball. And then he stays in the post for a second, and then he just moves out because he's not going to get the ball in the post. He has no offensive game, no touch around the rim. And I think that's the bigger issue, because he's fine to play against small ball lineups, even though he can't guard the perimeter that well because he's not used to it. I do think he can kind of guard the perimeter. It's just not his specialty, obviously. Yeah,
he tries. It's just hard, man. It's difficult.
But the fact that you can't punish small ball lineups with him because he has no offensive game is a bigger issue to me, because we see it because the Clippers are trying this with Ayton, right? They're trying to stretch him out too. He's more lighter on his feet on the perimeter, but he can just punish those. Campaign's hitting him on the roll. He can take advantage of that kind of stuff, and that's why they got to play Zubac, because if they just play small 5 the entire time, they just get beat by Ayton. That's the issue with Gobert, is he just has no offensive game.
Okay, so let me think about this. Is he enticing to the Mavs, who are trying to move Porzingis, just on the basis that Luka's special,
yes,
that he can anchor our defense?
Yes.
Rudy can. Yeah?
I think he is, because, dude, how many times did Luka try to just force the ball to Boban? Against small ball lineup. Dude, he forced the ball so much. Dude, they were playing Boban against that small ball lineup because they're just he'll just get rebounds, and, we can post up with him and stuff. The Mavs will legit, actually force it to Gobert. And I'm not saying this is a good strategy, but, Luka will, try to force the ball there. I think he is kind of intriguing to the Mavs, honestly.
That's the one that, like, when I was thinking about teams that are in action, that one stood out to me. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
I don't feel
difficult,
like that
right?
deal happens, but
No, nor do I.
but I do think there is something.
My God, I'm Krekajit said, how about Simmons for Gobert? Gobert and Embiid.
I did. Speaking of terrible gimmicks on 2K that I do. Did I tell you about this one, Joseph? My all offense and my all defense lineup.
Oh yes, the team with no shooting.
Yeah,
and then you went to the
yeah.
bench, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, where Rondo was like having to run floppy plays, so he could be he was the only shooting at all. And he can kind of shoot it now, right, Rondo? Or is he not doing as well in the playoffs? I haven't watched enough.
I don't know if he can shoot now. How about that play by Phoenix though? The end of that game.
The end, yeah.
So
That's a Brett
good.
Brown play, you know this, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Did you see this? This
I
is the
saw
actual
it.
story.
I know. I saw
Definitely
it.
needed that story to come out this week, Jeremy. I really needed Brett Brown publicly being awarded merit as a coach. Really what I needed.
I saw that. I laughed so hard when Paul George missed those 2 free throws. It's great.
I was kind of enjoying the Paul George like redemption.
I
It
can
ended.
enjoy it to an extent, but like if he's gonna
No, it's
fuck it up
different.
like that, it's great to me.
It's different for you. Like the fuck you. I get it 100%.
But
I
see,
just,
like,
me,
I-
it's like,
I was enjoying it because like it's not fun to slander him if like without Kawhi. Like he's doing this
Yeah.
with Marcus Morris is like his second best player and shit. Like Reggie Jackson. I think Reggie Jackson's probably the second best player, right?
dude,
Like fuck him
Reggie,
as well.
Reggie's incredible.
He's like
What's
actually
happened to
good.
him?
It's insane.
I don't get what happened. I feel like I missed like a chapter of the book with Reggie. Like he just suddenly he's incredible again. I
It's
don't know
weird. It's weird. Like this campaign is on the Suns, and like he was out of the league last year, and he's running their damn offense with Chris Paul out.
It's such a dumb league, dude.
It
What
really
do we talk
is.
about?
It really.
We
is.
talk about like with all this like certainty and assuredness. It's like campaign he was considered like a scrub. He put up 30 in playoff fight conference final.
Yeah. He was in China last year. Like he was traded for nothing. I always wanted him to like get a real shot in OKC, and he never did. And I like at the time I get why. And then he was out of the league, and now here he is, like leading a 2-0 team here. Like I know obviously.
He's impactful on a rival for them too.
Yeah.
Because he played the bubble games, right?
Yeah, and he was good in the bubble.
Yes. And they were saying, like, their fans were saying, "Oh, it's like we had our offense steadied and stuff." Like, it's crazy. I don't know. It's
And now
wild.
they get Chris Paul back tonight, and so Payne will go to the bench. And this all feels like the Suns for the taking, right? Like
I
this
hope
title.
I really hope so. I think we all do, right?
Yeah, it'd be nice for Chris Paul.
It would
to
be
get
really
this.
sad if they didn't, to be honest. Because you look at what's that, and it's like who is the biggest threats to them, really? You know?
I think. See, like I'm not like fully just ready to like write off the Bucks, even though they do this every playoffs. Like I look at that team, and I'm just like they should win. I'm not saying the title. Like the Suns are a tough matchup, but I'm just like Giannis.
They should beat the Hawks. Yeah.
They should beat the Hawks. I'm just like man, Giannis, Holiday, Middleton, even like PJ Tucker, Brooke Lopez. Like these are like good players and stuff, and I feel like they should win. And then every playoffs without fail, they just can't shoot the ball. They just can't shoot the ball. Like I don't even think their offense is bad as people like want to make it out to be and stuff. Like it's not like your offense is horrible when you shoot 39% from 3 in the regular season and then you shoot 30% in the playoffs. It's not that your offense has just gone to complete shit there. Like you're still generating open shots and everything. You're just missing all of these shots.
I just think, in fear of making this some sort of mental analysis, they don't want it bad enough thing. But I do think some of these groups of players like get to a point where they no longer believe. They just sort of like hope they can do it this time. You know, it's a very real thing. You know, like the idea that when Bud sits himself down at night, like is he like confident or is he just like, please God, this not fuck this one up? Like, I think that's a real thing, Jeremy. I really do. I think at some point, a group of players and a coach gets so used to that sort of like falling on their soul disappointment that they start to almost expect the worst. I think you saw that with the Jazz. You know when the Jazz blew that lead against the Clippers?
Yeah.
And it's like, you could just see like that group was like, yeah, this is about to happen to us. I saw it with the Sixers. Like, I mean, that stuff happens at some point, and if you wait around long enough without winning, I think it can fuck you up. And that's why, if you look at the Raptors, when we played the Raptors, there was times in that series where none of them wanted to shoot the ball, and they would just be like, Kawhi. None of them, and it's because they'd all experienced that heartbreak, right? But Kawhi hadn't. Kawhi was like, "Sweet, give me the ball." That's what happened. And I don't know if Drew can be that guy. I love Drew, but I don't think he's the guy that's like, "Oh, now we're going to win, folks." He ain't won shit, right? It's difficult. That's the thing. I don't know. It's just a theory of mine. Not really a strong reach, but do they want it bad enough? That's what my question is. Do they want it bad enough?
All right.
We didn't want it bad enough, Jeremy.
We did 2 hours on Twitch after we did an hour and 15 on our regular show.
I know. I can't believe that Ben Simmons doesn't want it bad enough.
He's not, according to sources close to the situation, he doesn't practice at all, Joseph.
I swear, if he comes back and he shoots right-handed, that will be the most incredible. After 4 years of people saying shoot right-handed, if he comes back and just shoots and he's 70% from the free throw line, I may I may never be seen again. I may just remove myself from public life. Imagine he actually just comes back and he does what everyone asked him to do all those years ago. He's like, oh yeah, this is much better. Good idea. I don't know if I could live with that, Jeremy.
It's like Westbrook does everything, I think, with his right hand, but then. Or he does everything with his left hand, but then he plays basketball with his right hand. It's like
but look, I mean, Russ is very flawed, but
how dare
there's
you?
a difference here, right? There's a difference here, right? I mean, he's not shot 34% from the free throw line in a playoff run. It's different.
He's trying.
Yeah, they're a very interesting comparison, Russ and Ben, because it's the complete opposite mentality, but vaguely similar skill sets. See,
I think Russ is more like Giannis, where you're just gonna get Simmons is just the mentality is completely different. Simmons.
That's what I mean. Yes, the mentality.
Yeah. Giannis is still gonna attack. He can't shoot, but he's still gonna kind of take the threes and kind of take the mid range, even though maybe he shouldn't. And you can still count on him. He's way more efficient than Russ. Don't get me wrong, but you can still count on him for a 30-10-10 game. Russ is kind of the same way. He's going to get his damn numbers no matter what. He's still going to make an impact on the game, and he's going to keep attacking. It's just he's just a very flawed player, and is it conducive to fully winning basketball? I don't know. Because shooting is the ultimate weapon, and Giannis can't shoot. That's an issue.
Man, I admire Russ, and I enjoy watching him, but playing against that Wizards team, I know they're not a good team, Jeremy, but every time he had the ball, it was you just know he's going to tread in shit, isn't he? He's just, bless him, Russ. He tries very hard, but he just hasn't that. And it's the same thing we were just talking about with the teams, where it's he's so intense, he's so aggressive, but it just feels like you're always waiting for him to make a mess of it, doesn't it? I've never seen such a great player throw it into the stands so often.
You're telling me.
One of the first possessions of the series, he drew it, and Simmons is guarding him, right? He does a spin move and just passes into the bench. And he's like, oh, the refs were in the same. It's I don't get how this happens to you so much. You're one of the great players. And Harden, James Harden has this sense that, when push comes to shove, he may make a misstep. But you don't feel that way where it's oh, let James have the ball. No, you fear James Harden. Russ, at times, it'll be fuck, man, just let Russ. He'll figure out a way to mess it up, I'm sure.
You're telling me.
I agree with Gregor Jack. I know you know, but he said I'll miss him when he retires. We all will. He's going to be an icon. He's great, but playoff basketball, I think the book has been written at this point, right? Yes.
He's going to be a Laker next season, so.
Oh, that is going to be incredible. Him and LeBron.
This is legit where I think the Wizards are going rebuild. I think they're going to try to trade Beal. I don't know where to, but I think they're going to try to move Beal. And I think they're going to try to move Russ. And I have no idea what the Lakers give up besides their entire roster, not named Davis and LeBron. But I think that he ends up somehow on the Lakers next season.
He feels like a really bad fit with LeBron, but I get you.
Yeah, but LeBron loves them.
Yeah, but he likes Melo too. Didn't stop him from being a little hesitant to pull that trigger, it's different, I know. But
yeah, I mean, Russ is still... Melo, hey, look, LeBron might regret not. I mean, they won a title last year, so whatever. But LeBron may regret not just going after Melo. He was good for Portland, right?
Do you remember when Denver booed him and he just like became Carmelo Anthony again for a quarter or whatever? Just like just drilling 3-pointers and stuff. That was incredible. Get like a turnaround. It was great.
LeBron will 100% like talk himself into like wanting Russ on the team. Be like, oh yeah, I play off ball more. It's my favorite story every offseason. LeBron's just gonna play off ball. Just he's not gonna have to dominate the ball so much and just take some possessions off.
Do you remember when Harden and Russ did it, where it's like everyone in the world goes, nope, doesn't make any sense. And they're like, listen, we're good friends. Okay,
yeah.
we can adjust, we can figure things out here. And you watched it, it was like, oh no, it doesn't really make any sense. That's fine. But
it's so...
and they had to move the center. It was a whole
it's so. I was texting my buddy about this. Like, it's funny watching like Capella like thrive in the playoffs, and Houston just had to blow up what they had because they basically traded for Westbrook, and so it killed their spacing. And so they couldn't play Westbrook and Capella at the same time. So they needed to add another spacer to give Westbrook that lane. Otherwise, even though Westbrook's like good in the pick and roll, like they could have just ran like pick and roll stuff, and they just didn't do it because they just took that out of their playbook and stuff. And here's Capella. It's like, hey, he's actually like valuable if you play him in the right situation. You don't try to go like full gimmick with shit.
I think Maury never really was happy about paying him that much money. Like, because the Golden State series never went well for him, right? Like, they would always play him off the floor. And I just think, as soon as Daryl could get rid of Capella, he was like, cool, I'll do it. That's genuinely the way. Because that trade was so weird. Like, remember how weird that trade looked on paper with Covington? Daryl, like, cut his arm off to get Robert Covington instead. Yeah. Like, it was weird. It was just a weird deal.
Dude, Golden State can play, like, anybody off the floor in a series, though.
Capella's fine. Like... Watching him and Embiid was interesting because obviously Embiid was like you could tell he didn't have his and he didn't have his full gas set. You could tell like he's playing on a bad knee, but he could still score pretty handily on big clip. And that's not a knock on him. He can score on everyone. Right? That's the whole point. But he's fine. I mean it's very similar to what Harden do. Just throw those lobs and he's cool with it. Like he has fun with those. You can dunk those. You never give him the ball to like create. That's not your job. He's a rim runner. At the highest order, he's a rim runner, and that's fine.
You just have to put these guys like in the right situation, and with the Houston, I mean, they were right there. Like if Chris Paul doesn't get hurt, maybe they win that series, you know. And like Capella's on that team, so
that's it, man. Yeah, like, I mean, I haven't watched this Clippers Suns series closely enough, but like I'm watching Nick Batum like be a player. I'm like, wow. You know, I mean, he's been good this playoffs, right? Am I being generous? I feel like he's been good.
No, he was on like he kind of swung the Jazz series.
Yes.
Because once they took out Zubac and everybody and they put Batum in, it's like, and this is again going back to Gobert. It's like he had Batum like basically guarding him and just couldn't do shit against him because he just has no.
Zubac rules so much. Like when Doc Rivers just refused to play him and instead did Montrez for like 40 minutes every game, he became like by not playing he became so much better than he is.
Yeah.
Like going into the next season after that, it was like, well now that Doc's gone, Zubac can play 45 minutes and be an all-star. Surely, like he's plus minus. It's just like he's fine, you know. But it's true. The point you've made after all this talk, the point is these are all incredibly talented guys. They need to be in the right system, the right place. You know, it's just sometimes it needs to click for guys. That's all.
Yeah.
It's not, most of these guys have stuff dropped. They're in the NBA for goodness sakes, right?
Yeah.
It is. We talk about something like we talk about Gobert, Simmons, Porzingis, and we're struggling to look for destinations. Dude, these GMs are out of their mind. There's there's loads of guys that are willing to get Rudy Gobert and get a good defense that they know in the end is going to undo. Like they don't think of it that way, you know? Because it should be noted, some of these franchises just want to be like competitive. You know, like we're always thinking big picture is can they win a title? It's like some of these GMs are just like we've sucked for 10 years. Rudy Gobert can anchor a great defense. Let's bring him in. So, you know, sometimes we can get some of these franchises just want to have like fun competitive teams. Not even fun, just competitive teams.
I mean that's really like why would Charlotte after last season, the season they had, like why would they throw a bunch of money to Gordon Hayward? It's like Gordon Hayward ain't changing your franchise, and Charlotte's like. Yeah, we're just cool. Like if we get like the 8th seed and fans are back and we can get like a playoff game and everything.
That's a big part of it. Fans, big part. Like, so these are businesses, you know.
Yeah.
Like tanking's fun and all, but like Some of these teams need to just be like alive so that their ticket sales don't fall off a cliff after 1 month where they're 0-10. You know, like, it's difficult. I think people lose track of that. They think that everyone in the league is like, we're just going to, it's all or nothing, man. If we're not going to be a top 4 seed, we need to blow it up. It's like, nah, most of these teams are just like, let's just tread water, be steady. Like, dude, there's a chance the Utah guys are like, we were a 1 seed, you know? Like,
Yeah.
fuck. Rudy's awesome. He's a 3-time defensive player of the year. Like, there's a chance. I don't know, but I would. If I was Donovan Mitchell, I wouldn't want to hear that. But there's a chance that's where they're at.
Dude, if I was Donovan Mitchell, I wouldn't want to hear it after the bubble season. I would have been like,
If I was him, they'd have been like, "You've been drafted to the Utah Jazz. Are retiring from basketball. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure."
Okay. All right, everybody. What is this message I just got? Okay.
Oh no, Mark Crono.
No, not this time. This is Bruce this time, actually.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sorry to hear that.
All right, everyone. We'll be back on Twitch in like an hour with the Impact co-stream. I think I'm doing that. And
Oh no.
now that I said that, like, I think I'm going to drop out of doing it.
Good idea. Good idea.
Thanks, Joseph. Appreciate you.
This was good, right?
Are we doing anything tomorrow? Yes, no?
No.
No.
I have to do a show Bob now.
That's fair.
Before I was supposed to do show Bob on Wednesday, but you know, plans changed, so
Yeah.
I've got to do show Bob. Saturday we're off too. Sunday we're doing a watch along,
Yes.
and then we roll it again.
Yes. I tried to get Cass for the watch along. He's actually going to he's going to Dynamite. He's going to Saturday Dynamite. So I don't know if he's going to be free to do
Got
the
ya.
show on Sunday.
I thought he was going to say he's actually going to Clash of Champions 1993, and I was like,
Is that what we're watching? Clash 93?
yes, the Blondes versus Arn and Flair would do.
Okay.
That's a June clash, so we'll do that.
Okay. So yeah. Fuck, I'm tired. Let me watch Impact in an hour from now.
Yep, indeed.
Yes. Thanks, guys. Thanks for hanging out in the chat. Appreciate the subs and the bits and all that fun stuff. Watch the show. Whatever, guys. Just enjoy your night. Go to sleep. Everybody get some sleep. We're rated Mega Ran. Like Mega Ran. Catch y'all tonight. Maybe.